Good evening, hello, welcome everybody to V8s Online for an absolutely special event. We are here for Matty's race to help give cancer the flick. My name is Jay Kennedy, and for what is going to be a fantastic night of racing, we're going to have 4 races ahead. Been joined by the best in the business, one of the best in the business, Reese Gardner. Reese, welcome along. It's going to be a fantastic night of racing.
I think you're giving me a bit too much credit there, Jay. I'm sure I'm not the best in the business, but I'm happy to be here all the same.
Going to be a fantastic night of racing. And when we were asked to jump on board and get behind this race and this event, we thought we better put the feelers out and try and get someone who is much loved within the V8s Online community and much loved by you guys out there. The big hello, welcome, and welcome back to Stephen Sandman Clark. G'day, Sandman.
G'day, boys. G'day, everyone. How are you all? How long has it been, mate? It's been too long between drinks.
Has been a long, long time. We were talking before. I think All-Star Shootout 4 was the last time we had you in the booth, but Sandman, it is going to be phenomenal. Reese, can't wait. Sandman, first off, we've got a V8 supercar race, a 25-minute race. It's going to be a very, very exciting one.
Oh, mate, I love the Aussie V8s. You know, the racing always puts on a good show, and of course, we're here for such a great cause. And what a layout, too. Watkins Glen Boot. That is a racetrack that's a little bit near and dear to me. I really enjoy this racetrack, and there's no doubt the quality of racing that we're going to see, and like I said, all for a great cause, is really going to be a heck of a show tonight.
On screen is Jamie McKnight, who is running in Matty Toirkens' car and number tonight in honour of Matty, who of course we are raising funds for. If you would like to get behind the cause, please head to gofundme.com/Matty Matty Toirkens. The link is in the YouTube description and the Facebook page as well. And amazingly, we've raised a phenomenal amount of money so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's in excess of $10,000 to help Matty and his family with the costs associated with his cancer treatment, which is absolutely incredible. It's amazing when a community comes together like this. You know, the iRacing Oz NZ community. You know, we fight hard, we race hard, but at the end of the day, when it comes to getting one of our mates a bit of a leg up, we all pull out.
Yeah, the one bit I do love about it too is that, you know, we talk about it time and time again where there's a lot of the people that race with each other that know each other by the voice but have never actually seen each other in real life. And it's really good when you get a heap of people that bond together and, you know, dig deep a little bit for something like this. Obviously, it's a terrible time. You know, cancer is just one of those things. It's probably it's touched a lot of our lives. And, you know, it's good when people all come together, you know, for someone that we may not know face to face. But, you know, it's such a good cause. And I can't believe the figure that we're at the moment.
Yep, so if you would like to continue and donate along, we have heaps of prizes that will be given away later in the night as well, but rumours have it as well that we'll run through the format first, then we'll go through the rumours that we've got 4 races we will see tonight. We've got V8 Supercars first. Second race we will have after this will be the Audi, the Ferrari and the Mercedes GT3s. Then the final race in our heat preliminary section will be the Porsche Carrera Cup cars. Top 12 from each of those races will go through to a final, which will be 40 minutes in length. But all the cars have been weighted, and the parity between all of those cars is very, very close. It's going to be very, very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a multi-class race of sorts, but everybody's racing for the same points and victory in the final race of tonight. I don't think this is something that's been really tried on such a large scale before. Of course, balancing between the V8 Supercars, the GT3s and the Porsche 911 Cup, it's a bit of a task, but there's been plenty of testing before the event to ensure that the parity is as close as it can be. Hopefully we get a really good race out of it.
Yeah, I reckon the beauty about this too is it evens up the field because everyone's obviously got their favourites and, you know, they may prefer one car over the other. So we're going to find all these drivers in their comfort zone. And with these mixture of cars, I reckon it's going to be a great show.
Yep, cannot wait for it. And we'll run through, Dane Warren goes to the top of the timesheets. We'll run through our V8's Online race report because we do that before, or race preview, I should say, because every single race we like to know what's ahead of us. So the fun probability is high. The pun likelihood is extreme with Reese and I in the booth. Laughs to be had, there will be many. But the most crucial one, the chance of Sandman's neighbours complaining. After the last time we had Sandman in the booth, no doubt the police will be called and there will be 3 voice boxes damaged by the end of the night.
If I'm not careful, they're going to run me out of Queensland. I haven't long been here, so I've just got to be careful.
You'll love to come back to this cold weather, mate.
No, you can have the weather. We'll not get into that.
Well, I'm keeping my ear out for a door being broken down and hands up being yelled in the background of Sandman's man cave. So if you hear that, then you know what's happened. I don't know, it might happen for me as well, considering my neighborhood. But either way, qualifying is in its second half, guys. And currently, Dane Warren, Ethan Gridgolf, Emily Jones, Brett Loxton, and Sam Blacklock are your top 5.
And a few names as well that have not put in times. Amazing. We've got 44 cars out on track for what will be this 25-minute race. As we said, top 12 go through, but we'll go to the big but I was talking about before. The race admins are open to bribes. So you want to get involved and be a part of the main event and you don't make it through, dig into your pockets, donate a lot extra, and you'll get yourself in.
Yes, indeed.
There's another part to that as well, which we'll quickly touch on as well. We're getting out the old game show stuff tonight. Sandman's going back to his getting his I don't know what do you call it, Sandman? Where you go and you wave your hands around in front of the wheel. We get the spinning wheel out.
I'm gonna be like what's it, Adriana Executives?
Yes, Wheel of Fortune. We've got the Wheel of Fortune wheel, so we will put all 36 drivers, the top 12 from each of our races, into the spinning wheel. We'll spin the wheel, and whoever gets that whoever's name gets called up, they're going to start on pole. So pretty good prize if you do get your number called tonight.
Yeah, nice little unique chance at pole position. I reckon that's a nice mix.
There are plenty of sponsors we need to thank as well. So we'll do a little shout out while qualifying is just closing up now. But big thank you to Jamie McKnight and everyone at West End Mazda for digging in and donating heaps of money and heaps of prizes to this event. Also donating prizes, Logitech G, Modem Simulations, Driver Performance Driving Australia, Brief of the Label, Talk Inc., Danny Trim at PSS. Need to thank Danny for all of his hard work behind the scenes as well, putting this together. Big thanks also to Anton De Pasquale from Erebus Motorsport, who's donating some gear to someone tonight who's going to walk away with some merch. So some really, really cool prizes up for grabs throughout the night as well, which just adds to the night as well.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Exactly. I reckon, that just, mate, that just might put a little bit of fire in these drivers' bellies, you know, knowing that there's maybe something on the line there. It's good. I reckon these drivers are, like we said, we're just about wrapped up qualifying, and we go through the grid. A couple of interesting names throughout the field, and I can't wait to see them rip into turn one.
Ended up with a few late stragglers coming in. We've ended up with 46 cars in this race. That is phenomenal.
That's crazy. And considering the racing that we saw in V8 Scops on Sunday, remember, we don't have the bus stop on this layout of Watkins Glen. It's a straight blast from the S's all the way down to the carousel. So there'll be some interesting moves there. And going through the boot, we haven't really seen V8s going through the boot much in this series, so it will be very interesting for sure.
Checkered flag is out for qualifying. We'll quickly run through a very, very quick run through. Dane Warren will start from pole with Ethan Grigalt second, Emily Jones third, Brett Loxton in fourth, Sam Blacklock fifth, Kurt Stenberg, Marlon McMullen, Jacob Knight, good job from him. He'll start from eighth. By Leach and Daniel Williams round out the top 10. We'll flick through the rest of the names. Actually, no, Reece, you can do the next.
Alrighty, Stuart Vaughan in 11th place and Cooper Webster lining up in 12th. Glenn Postlethwaite from Synergy Sim Racing for 13th place. Jamie McKnight, the head of West End Mazda, in 14th place. Sean Thompson, 15th. And Kyle Stokes in 16th. The top 20 rounded out by Thomas McMillan, Kyle James, Jackson Suzlin Harlow, and Shane Evans.
Go for it, Sam, man, just like old times.
Oh, we've got Luke Page 21st, Matt Morris in 22nd, Jackson Shrub, I can't see, my scripters are a little bit small there, in 23rd. Peter Davison in 24th. In 25th, we've got Corey Butcher. 26th is David Kinnan. In 27th, we've got Martin. Oh, that's a good one. Silvassi, there we go. Sorry, Martin. In 28th, we've got Jonathan Benth. In 29th, we've got Connor McCluskey-Young. And in 30th, we've got Mitchell Taylor.
A little bit of time while the drivers take the grid. We've got Garth Lavelle in 31st, Brett Shelby-Wood 32nd, Stephen Apps next 33rd with Stephen Vargas, Scott Clark, Jordan Pruden up to 36, Ian Willie, Gilbeck, Christian Hinton, Fletcher Christian, Damien McConaughey, Stephen Burgess, Ryan O'Sullivan, this list keeps going on, Elliot Durrow, Ian Holt and Daniel Vassell, the 46 cars we've got for this race. Well done to these guys. And this is only race one.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I don't think I've seen this big of a field of V8 supercars since the V8 Scops Enduros. And this is going to be a 25-minute sprint. I can't wait to see what happens going into turn one. I'm hyped already. The lights are about to go up here, guys. The 2-minute mark is away, so the revs are going to rise now. The first race of Matty's race to give cancer the flick. And away they go, guys. Off we go.
Oh, looks like a fairly even start at the front there. Looks like, see, it's Dane Warren on the inside. But look around the outside. Ethan Grigalt. Oh, Ethan Grigalt just a little bit sideways under brakes.
They've all looked like they're going to file through turn one fairly safely. Everyone's taking their time, being very, very cautious. But remember, top 12, get through. 25 minutes is not a long race, around about 15 laps. And look at the breakaway that Ethan Grigalt and Dane Warren have already pulled from the rest of the field.
Yeah, man, that's pretty crazy. Dane and Ethan, they've really brought out a gap now, but the big slipstream is coming into play now. It looks like Marlon McMullen and Kurt Stenberg going side by side into the carousel. McMullen wins out there. But jostling back in the field.
McMillan up the inside, almost set it on Jamie McKnight and decided to pull out. There's a car spinning in the background. Not quite sure who that was. They've decided to jump back to the pits. And accident just ahead of these guys as well. Everyone's got through though.
Yeah, Scott Clark having to slow down for some reason there. He's lost quite a few spots. Other than that, the field is continuing to stream around now that we're on the boot section. A couple of places you can really throw it up the inside here. Oh, we got an accident just up ahead.
Yes.
Got a couple of cars spinning.
McMillan, I think, involved in that, and also Matt
well.
Morris. Oh, and around goes Jordan Pruden, and upside down. Yep, on his lid is Jordan Pruden. Thomas McMillan also around, and 4 or 5 cars involved in a big one at the back of the field. Not a great look, but expected with this many cars on such a tough circuit.
Yeah, certainly. It just looks to me like Sean Thompson and Ryan O'Sullivan were almost involved in that there. It looked like O'Sullivan took to the grass to avoid that incident. He managed to get through somewhat cleanly at the end of that. That would be pretty stressful from his end.
Tell you what, I think we were lucky to go that as far as we did without that much carnage. I'll tell you that 46 cars around this racetrack, it's crazy. These guys doing a great job, but up front we can see we've got the top 3 starting to break away. Then we've got Brett Laxton, he's in 4th, and there's right behind him is Sam Blacklock.
Yeah, Blacklock will be looking for redemption too after a very, very disappointing V8 Scops round. Good to see too Brett Loxton's car actually running. The KRF cars usually run each driver's name. They're actually running Matty Toirkens' name on the car, so good touch to those guys to run Matty's name on the back of the car.
Yeah, good stuff from those guys. Looks like Loxton just going slightly defensive there against Blacklock, just blocking off the track ever so slightly, not giving Blacklock enough room to try around the outside, but I tell you what, Sam's looking a bit hungry here. Oh, there he goes, up the inside. You got to keep that inside line through this corner, keep on that grippy concrete. It looks like Blacklock has just managed to get out of there without squeezing Loxton too tightly on the outside. Loxton may be able to come back here if he gets the over-under done perfectly, but it looks like for now Blacklock's got it done. And meanwhile, Loxton is starting to fall into the clutches of McMullen and Stenberg.
Just going to go back in the field a tiny little bit though, because the last transfer spot, 12th position at the moment. Believe it or not, this is boss and worker fighting against each other. Daniel Williams, Jamie McKnight, both West End Mazda boys. Last transfer spot. You think Daniel might have to move over and let Jamie through here?
Oh, who knows? He won't be getting paid for it, will he? Will he?
Well, it depends on if he moves out of the way or not.
We'll have to see about that. So Williams, McKnight, and Cooper Webster as well, all in a little bit of a pack for that 12th spot. They've got a really big gap to the cars behind them, though. Oh, I'm seeing a car just waiting at pit exit. That's Ian Willie there. Not quite sure what's going on with him. Looks like he might have gotten... Yeah, he went into pits to get some damage repaired. He's just returning to the track now.
And Holt also in the lane to get some damage fixed. We'll go back to Blacklock, Loxton, and now Marlon McMullen is right there attacking as well as Kurt Stenberg. So a pretty tight little battle here.
Yeah, and Blacklock locked his rears coming into that part of the boot, so he's given Loxton a little bit more of a sniff at possible 4th position. The cool thing about Watkins Glen is there's so many long straights here that slipstreaming is quite an easy game to play around here. Problem is, when you approach those braking zones, you've got to be really careful, because once you get offline in those high load corners, you're basically gone. So all of these guys need to be super careful.
We wonder if it takes the pressure off these guys a little bit. They know they need to finish just inside the top 12. So the guys that are probably racing in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, they know they've probably got a little bit of margin up their sleeve, so they can afford to just take it easy and not to take too many risks.
That's exactly right.
On board here with Jamie McKnight, and we'll see where he can try and work a way past the unusually coloured pink All-Star Motorsports Commodore. Different to see. Different colours. Good to see different colours. Is up
here he
inside.
goes.
Here we go.
Oh, he's gone sideways. He's just locked the inside a little bit there. He hasn't quite got on the throttle. Hasn't got enough. Looks like Jamie just had the door closed on him, but boy, oh boy, did he have a crack at it.
He certainly did, and now he's right up there coming through the S's. I'm wondering if he'll be able to try and move into the carousel. He just needs to be able to stay behind Williams here down the straight. Remember, there's no braking zone here at the bus stop chicane to try and put a move on your opponent, so you've got to make a hell of a dive at the carousel, and McKnight is going for it.
Oh, they're going to go side by side, but look behind him, it's Cooper Webster too. He knows he can take a stab too. If these guys get caught up battling, he'll just throw it up the inside and take the spot away.
He certainly will. Daniel Williams doing very well there to defend against McKnight. Seeing a bit of smoke up ahead of them. I think that was Stuart Vaughan making a mistake, but Williams has managed to hold out against McKnight for at least a couple more corners. But you know, right now, McKnight really wants that 12th position.
Absolutely, he's working hard for it. Of course, that's the car that Matt Toirkens would normally drive, so a fair bit on the line for Jamie. He needs to get into that 12th position. Oh, big wiggle though for Williams.
Oh, looks like it's locked him a little bit too.
Yeah, but see, that's put McKnight on course for a little bit of a late apex, which can help his run. He hasn't quite lost out yet.
Now, James McKnight, all he needs to do is worry about this last turn. He had a good exit last time round, so he knows if he can get this corner right. Oh, it looks like he's just missed the apex there. He needs that run into the into the turn one area. And if he can use that bit of that draft, but he just didn't quite get the exit that he needed out of that last turn.
Yeah, so he's going to have to stay behind there for another turn. Oh, have a look at that. Williams running a bit wide over the runoff of turn one. Have a look. McKnight is right on the bumper now. Cooper Webster's actually fallen back from these guys in the last few corners. I'm wondering if McKnight will be able to put a move on Williams now.
Yeah, it looks like he has got a little bit. It all looks like we've got a car slowing down up front here. That's a lap car. Thomas McMillan looks like he's in a bit of trouble there.
Here we go. McKnight goes for the move
there
again.
There he goes. Got it.
Oh, yeah. Very nicely done there from Jamie McKnight. Wondering if Williams will be thinking about trying to set up a counter move, perhaps. He's got to be careful not to fall back into the clutches of Webster, otherwise that 12th place is as good as gone.
Oh, look behind him too. Daniel Williams just lost another spot. What a dive up the inside.
Wow, that's
Did not
excellent.
See that coming at all. Great move from Cooper Webster. The issue is there's still a long way to go in this race. We're on lap 5. There's still around about 10 laps to go. The way the draft plays at this circuit, these positions are not settled at all.
No, that's right. And that's what Cooper Webster was worried. He needed to get that position because he wants to grab onto that toe. You know, the toe is important. We talked about the long straight here when you take out that bus stop chicane. So it's crucial that Cooper Webster could stay under the back of Jamie McKnight.
One to watch at the moment is Ryan O'Sullivan moving his way through the field. Currently sitting in 16th position. He started this race in 43rd position. He has passed 27 cars and he's only got 4 more to pass to get himself into the transfer spot.
That's crazy. You know
what? There's still 15 odd minutes to go.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to do it. And you know what? That incident on lap 1, I think, did a lot for him. Remember, we saw him take to the grass. He was flat out on the grass avoiding that incident. A bit of courageous driving from O'Sullivan, and that means that he's really paid dividends on his starting position.
While we were watching that battle change of position, Marlon McMullen has gone through on Brett Loxton and Kurt Stenberg up the inside through the carousel.
Oh,
they're going to go side by side.
Sorry, Glenn Postlethwaite just getting up Guy Leach. Sorry, I just observed. Really courageous move. Barely had any room on the inside and he got through, and Guy Leach, he's not happy about losing that position. He wants it back.
Good fight here.
Yeah, certainly. You know, these all of these guys actually. Brett Loxton really struggling just up ahead, I'm noticing, and Kurt Stenberg, I think, smells blood. He's having a look.
Then he thought about making a move there, not quite able to do so. Well done to the guys at TTR as well for their nice touch on their liveries as well. Just enough of a tweak to the normal liveries, similar to the All-Star Motorsport ones, just to honour the event. Good job, guys. And girls.
Yes, or Stuart Vaughan versus Jacob Knight as well for 10th and 11th. That looks like a really interesting battle developing there. Vaughan's all over the back of Jacob. Looks like he's got a good run coming out of the last turn.
Oh, he's going to
there we
throw
go.
it. There he goes. Throws it up the inside. Doesn't quite pull it off. Got up on the ripple strip.
Yeah, just I think he realised midway through that he thought there was no way I'm going to make that corner. I'm just going to let Knight continue on his merry way. But we'll see what happens when they get to the end of the long straight, as we always do with these battles.
Interesting, in the background, you'll see that Cooper Webster and Daniel Williams have dropped a little from Jamie McKnight. That battle for final transfer spot looks semi-over, but I'm just going to go forward a little bit. Have a look at this. Marlon McMullen, Brett Loxton, Kurt Stenberg. This has turned into another interesting fight between these guys.
Yeah, they're all together now, so that's interesting. It seems like McMullen lost a bit of pace, so Loxton and Stenberg have been able to catch right back up to him. Have a look. McMullen losing the rear a little bit. He's had to go fully defensive right at the start of that straight, so this could give Loxton the opportunity he needs right now. Just getting on the brakes early. Stenberg's having a look once again. Loxton trying to go for that over-under maneuver. Is he going to throw it up the inside here? No, McMullen losing the rear once again.
Surprised that these guys are as racy as they are. You know, there's still a decent amount of time left in this race, and they're not really under pressure of losing that transfer spot. But
cars
it's
are
good
in.
to see.
Vaughan, Williams, all around.
Yeah, goodness me, that is no good at all. So both Vaughan and Jacob Knight. So something obviously happened between them because they were battling before.
They were side by side in the coming out of the boot, and saw originally in the background of the shot. We'll get a CPR replay on screen now.
Yeah, it just looks like Knight attempted an over-under maneuver, but Vaughan didn't quite go wide as he probably hoped.
And that's the pressure of those guys being on the bubble to miss that transfer spot.
Yeah, and have a look now. Ryan O'Sullivan finds himself all the way up in 13th position. He has passed 30 cars.
How good is that?
One
Crazy
more to
stuff.
get in.
Yeah, and you know what? Considering the lap times, have a look at Williams' last lap was a 48.2. Ryan O'Sullivan a 47 flat, basically. So O'Sullivan's on a real charge here.
He is.
What could work in his favour too is that Williams and Webster may be just fighting themselves out because they'll be making sure that they stay in that bubble. But if they get themselves caught up battling between each other, Ryan O'Sullivan's just going to creep up and tackle them.
Getting juicy. We're past the halfway point in this race. 11 minutes to go in this one. Oh, who's going to get through? We could still see incidents, especially the way McMullen, Loxton and Stenny are fighting. These guys could end up getting themselves out.
Yeah, they're not leaving anything on the table, these guys. And I'm noticing little micro locks from Marlon McMullen's car. You know, McMullen, he's a very skilled V8 driver, and he knows how to push that thing. It seems like, you know, if Loxton can put the right amount of pressure on McMullen, we could really see things heat up. Loxton. Oh,
that was a big
really
slide.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think McMullen will be struggling with here is tonight we are running fixed setup. So not running what these guys normally would run.
Yeah.
So the setup's going to suit some drivers and not suit others. And I think McMullen's struggling with the way the brake bias is set up in this car.
Yeah, that is true. It's one thing that I think we actually forgot to mention at the start of the broadcast. To help with the parity purposes, all cars are running fixed setups, so there's no tweaking to suit your style here. Loxton, once again, in the draft. Might he have a look?
Yeah,
I think
definitely. Look at he moves up the inside. He'll get that move done on Marlon McMullen. He's just going to run a little bit wide. He's got to be careful.
Steady.
Don't want to get there. Oh, Kurt Stenberg. He's decided to have a look too. Now he's going to race around the outside of Mark Mullen.
Goodness me. Marlon immediately going defensive, going really hot into the turn, but the way the track cambers at that point allows him to maintain momentum. Stenny, though, he's noticed what's happened. Brett Loxton, it's up to him now to try and stop Marlon from trying to take that position back. Sam Blacklock has basically run away with fourth place, so these guys are in a battle all their own.
Yeah, we saw
tell
that.
you what,
Just going to say, Reece, sorry, with that incident we saw between Stuart Vaughan and Jacob Knight has had to return to the pit, so that's effectively ended his race.
Yeah, real shame for Jacob Knight, but that is racing sometimes. I suppose like one little mistake can make all the difference. Just returning briefly to the 5th, 6th, 7th battle, all that fighting over the last lap is starting to bring a certain Glenn Postlethwaite into the picture. Have you noticed?
Not too far away. Guy Leach isn't out of it as well. It wouldn't be too far off him potentially getting up on the back of these guys as well. And Ryan O'Sullivan now 1 second behind Daniel Williams and Cooper Webster. That final transfer spot is going to go off.
I can't wait. Fantastic stuff as we're coming up to about 17 minutes into the race. So we haven't got much time left for these positions to be decided. The rate Ryan O'Sullivan is catching these guys, we might see him actually come up onto the back of them in the next lap or so.
Oxton's just lost a heap of time and dropped all the way behind Glenn Postlethwaite. Not too sure. And Kurt Stenberg with a big lock-up as he hunts down Marlon McMullen.
Yeah, what on earth happened to Loxton?
Big thank you to everyone who is donating to our link on screen, also in our YouTube and Facebook live descriptions. We need only $21 to hit 11,000 raised. So
Wow.
dig into your pockets, donate a few bucks. Don't have a coffee in the morning when you go to work. Donate instead. Everyone chips in a tiny little bit, and we will be able to make sure that Matty and his family have one less stress through their very difficult time.
Now, Jay,
Yes.
I reckon this may be the perfect time to start queuing up the Jaws theme music, because Ryan O'Sullivan has tacked right on the back of Daniel Williams, and this is for the transfer spot.
And there's still 5 laps to go for these guys as well, so this is well and truly on for the last transfer spot. But it is one thing to catch a car, it is another thing to pass, and we see it so often, how well guys can defend once they get caught. So this is going to be very, very, very heated.
Certainly is. It's going to depend largely on O'Sullivan's exit from this first turn, which he seems to have absolutely nailed. He's right on the bumper of Williams coming through the S's. Cooper Webster doesn't need to worry much for now. Williams has O'Sullivan right behind him. All it takes is one well-placed move into the carousel, and O'Sullivan has it. So let's see how extreme the draft is. Coming down the straight.
Here he comes.
Dun-um. Dun-um.
Oh, no, he actually
Does-
backed out of it.
Oh.
He just got out of the throttle just a tiny bit. So I think he's just playing smart at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to make the move too early in some cases, because there's the possibility that your rival will just be able to draft you back on the next lap. So I think O'Sullivan is biding his time with this maneuver. Oh, hold on a minute.
Oh,
He won't have to bide his time for much longer if Williams keeps doing
Oh,
that.
there he goes. He's going to put up the inside. Oh, he doesn't do it. Contact.
Oh.
Oh, there he goes. Ryan Sullivan puts Daniel Williams into the wall. But look at the sportsmanship. He's got on the brakes. He knows there was a bit of a contact there, and they're going to go at it again.
Certainly. Good stuff there. These guys are going to continue their battle, I think. Oh, no!
Oh.
Look at that. That's interesting.
I think Williams was not overly happy there, and that's ended Williams' race.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Because Sullivan, you know, obviously he made a little mistake. He did the right thing. He sort of jumped on the brakes and tried to make a race of it again, but looks like maybe a bit of frustration set in there. But nevertheless, that was for the transfer spot.
Yeah, a little bit controversial, I think, but nonetheless, that
Cool.
is as it stands.
Yeah, Sullivan actually clipped the curb on the inside and it just propelled his car in the air straight into Williams. So if he didn't quite clip that curb, or even if that curb wasn't quite as hammered as it was, it probably wouldn't have caused the damage. But controversial to say the least. I'm glad I'm not in race control.
Yeah, certainly. That'll be interesting for the stewards to work out. We haven't really actually focused much on the drivers at the front, because they've just run away with it, basically. Dane Warren and Ethan Griggold have had nothing to fight for, basically. They've been holding station in the top two, but Emily Jones and Sam Blacklock are actually fighting pretty hard here for the last spot on the podium.
Won't be a huge amount of fighting between those two, I wouldn't say, being teammates. They know what's at hand. They know that top 12 get you through, so they'll just be playing it smart. But probably have a little bit of fun with a bit of battling, depending on how much of a gap they can build.
That's right. That's exactly right. They've got a breather to back to 12th spot, so they will have a bit of fun, like you said. But yeah, I think smarter heads will prevail at the end, and it won't be too chaotic.
Just going to go back in the field a little bit. Stephen Varga, Martin Silvassi and Jackson Harlow. Look at these guys fighting over 16th, 17th, 18th. Silvassi was almost up the inside of Varga, coming through the toe. Now, fighting hard because, as we've seen, accidents can happen ahead, and they're not too far off the transfer spot, only about 8 seconds up the road. So they are not out of it in this situation here.
No, they certainly aren't, and I'm noticing Jackson was actually ahead of these guys on the previous lap, so something has happened to him to put him behind. I'll tell you what, it's quite interesting to see the kind of action that goes on this close to the transfer spot, because these guys know that if something happens ahead of them, they've got it, and they've got one more thing to fight for, but it's difficult to tell at that stage of the race. You know, you got to think about stuff like the battle between Stenberg, Postlethwaite, and Loxton, which is still going on, mind you. Those guys, something could really go wrong for them on the final lap, and it could make all the difference for Varga and Silvassi.
Another thing to note too is it doesn't matter where you finish in the top 12, the grid for the final will be set completely at random. So the only position that will be known before we get into the session will be pole. Every single position in the race from there is up for grabs, open to bribes. Anything can happen. You want to start in second on the grid? Pay up, reach into your pocket. Sure, the race control, the admins will be more than happy to wink, wink, help you out.
Now remember, it's all going to a good cause.
Yeah, not into Sandman's throat lozenge fun. Half the reason we've had to remove Sandman from commentary is we couldn't afford to keep up the Strepsil count.
You didn't tell me about that, Jay.
So the truths come out in special events, don't they?
Certainly do. Oh, I'll tell you what, Glenn Postlethwaite on the back of Kurt Stenberg. He's pushing. Saw him get a little bit sideways on entry into turn 1.
It's actually a good fight these guys are having. They're keeping it clean, but they are working hard and really are trying to put on a bit of a show here. It's good to see. Two laps to go. 1 minute on the clock, so not far away from this one being decided. Gap, the first two have pulled on the rest of the field. From Dane Warren to Emily Jones is 12 seconds. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, Warren and Greg Gold, they've really run away with this, haven't they? It just goes to show, like, it shows that they've adapted very well to the fixed setup as well. It seems like Ethan is actually gaining slightly on Dane. I don't know if we'll be able to see much of a fight for the top two, though. We only have 1 lap to go after this.
Yeah, it'll be the last lap when they come past the line. There'll be 20 seconds on the clock now. If they actually slow up, they could finish the race right now, but they're going to push on. There's no way they're going to slow up. There'll be 5 seconds on the clock when they cross the line. So this will confirm final lap of the race. And these two out in front, have a look at the lap times, last lap around and the last few laps, almost identical. But Dane Warren, 1 lap pace, incredibly quick of 45.5 in race pace. He's very, very quick.
Yeah, he is. He's not an official V8 Supercar champion for anything. Nothing. Sorry.
I knew what you meant.
Thanks, Jay.
Another battle that started to come out, Sam. Jamie McKnight, now that he's clear of those guys battling and punching on behind him, he's right on the tail of Guy Leach and might get himself up to 9th at the moment.
Yeah, McKnight doing very well at the moment. It just shows, like, once he managed to break away from that pack, he's just put in the laps, put in the hard yards, and he's managed to draft right up to the back of Leach here. And you can see he's taking that narrow line on entry into the carousel.
It's working too. Have a look at that.
Yeah.
Good
I'll
move.
tell you what. Yeah, Leach, I think, saw him coming, and he's actually let him go. That's interesting.
Yep. Well, there's no pressure here for these guys. They know
Yeah.
it's the last lap. They're safely in the transfer, so let's not make a meal of it. And you'd hate to see any of these guys into the fence on the last lap, but good drive from these guys.
Yeah, certainly. Dane Warren and Ethan Grigg-Gold up the front, I think, are just about to traverse the final turn. So a really good drive from Dane Warren. Just goes to show once again, Jay, if someone has a good race, we don't give them much screen time.
Yep, we say that how often if you're... Oh no, Dane Warren spun! Madison down,
He
He's got to
did
cross
that
the
on
line.
purpose.
He's got to cross the line.
Yeah,
reverse.
show it
Well
off.
done.
And
There we go. There we go. Ethan giving him a little bit of a nose bump. Excellent stuff, guys.
Blacklock also sideways across the line. Brett Loxton and Jamie McKnight will come across the line ahead of Guy Leach. Ryan O'Sullivan will finish in the final transfer spot. Cooper Webster finishing in 11th. So going to be interesting to see race control when they go back over and analyse what happened in the race and see what their decisions are around that incident.
Yeah, certainly. We'll have to wait and see for that particular result. Of course, I don't think anyone wants to get a position like that, especially something as lucrative as a transfer spot in a tournament event like this.
Well, we'll run through our final race results, unofficial results on screen. Dane Warren picking up the win by 1.1 seconds in the end over Ethan Grigg-Gould. Emily Jones in second, Sam Blacklock third, Marlon McMullen in Sam Blacklock in fourth, Marlon McMullen in fifth, Kurt Stenberg sixth, Glenn Postlethwaite and Brett Loxton seventh and eighth, with Jamie McKnight and Guy Leach rounding out the top 10.
Cooper Webster finishes in 11th. Ryan O'Sullivan finishes 12th under interesting circumstances. We'll see what the stewards have to say about his incident with Daniel Williams. Cody Bircher in 13th, 14th, Stuart Vaughan. Luke Page in 15th, with Stephen Varga finishing in 16th position. Martin Silvassi in 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th are Jackson Harlow, Mitchell Taylor, and Connor McCluskey-Young.
Okay, and that's 21st, Shane Evans in 22nd, Sean Thompson, Stephen Apps in 23rd, Scott Clark in 24th, Jordan Pruden in 25th, Jamie McCotchie in 26th, Fletcher Christian in 27th, Kyle James in 28th, David Kim in 29th, and Peter Davison rounding out your 30.
Start to go into some of the casualties in the race. Christian Hinton and Jonathan Ben, the last two drivers on the lead lap, 31st and 32nd. Then we've got Daniel Wiesel, Jacob Knight, unfortunately, finished one lap down. Stephen Burgess, Kyle Stokes, Ian Holt, Garth Lavelle, Jackson Sherb, and Brett Selby Wood finishing 2 laps down in 40th.
And rounding out your field, Daniel Williams, Vincent Skilbeck, Matt Morris, Ian Willey, and Thomas McMillan. Elliot Dora did not take to the grid. So that was your 46-car field. If that race is anything to go by, I can't wait for the GT3s and Porsches.
You know what the good bit is? We're going to have a very, very quick break, and we'll be back with that race in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Matty's race to give cancer the flick here on Vouts Online. We'll be back very, very soon. Stick with us. And while we're on our break, make sure you donate. The links are available in our broadcast descriptions. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to V8's Online's coverage of Matty's race to give cancer the flick. Very, very fun fundraiser for a very, very good cause. My name is Jay Kennedy, and alongside me tonight, Reese Gardner and Stephen Sandman Clark for what has been a phenomenal night so far. One race down, 3 to go, Reese. This one going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, certainly is. We're jumping into the GT3s for this session. The Audi, the Ferrari, and the Mercedes competing in this one. So it's going to be an interesting one, especially considering these cars, they've been matched to compete with the V8 supercar and the Porsche, but they still remain very different cars to drive.
And how good is it? What a mix of race cars too, regardless of what the race and the sound is going to be unbelievable. These cars pump out some great sound, but we know with the drivers involved, we're going to see some great racing. We're already looking at the names at the top of qualifying so far, and this is going to be a cracker.
2 minutes left in qualifying at the moment. Damien McPhee at the top of the timesheets, but tell you what, it's a who's who of Australia and New Zealand sim racing at the front. McPhee, Hampstead, Newton, Neck, Dodman, McDonald, Jacobin, McLeod, Thomas and Ford, the top 10. And amazingly, guys that are very, very good in the GT3. Shane Van Gisbergen jumps into the top 10. Ethan Warren, Warren Pickering, Ross Rizzo all find themselves outside the top 10.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You know, of course, on V8's Online, we also broadcast the Oceanic Sprint Championship, and we see a lot of these guys in those events. So, and they're usually up the front. So to see them pretty much on the verge of the top 15 is quite interesting. It seems that they haven't adapted to these fixed setups as well as some others.
Ross Rizzo will be struggling driving anything but that BMW though, so he's out there in the Ferrari, so that'll be unusual for him to see, or us to see him in a Ferrari. But Rizzo, probably the best GT3 driver week in, week out that we see in his skill and also his strategy. But no strategy in tonight's race. It's just an out-and-out sprint. That could be one of his downfalls in this race.
It certainly could, because, you know, Ross Rizzo, he's become adept at fuel saving in that BMW. So to jump in the Ferrari for a 25-minute sprint, you got to really recalibrate your racing mind. You got to really get yourself into the moment. I tell you what, how many cars have we got in here? We've got 45 cars in this server right now. So, yeah, almost as much as the V8 supercar race just before. So, man, I tell you what, GT3, at least in the official series sense, has a bit of a reputation for carnage-filled racing. I think we might see a bit here.
I'm just going to add to the carnage something these guys may not realise. Because we've had to make parity between the cars, it will be a standing start as well. Traction control has been removed from the fixed setup, so you guys are going to get a little bit of a shock here and go, oh, hang on. I've never ever started a GT3 car from a standing start. So this is going to be really, really interesting. But here we go. We'll run through the grid. And at the front of the field will be Damien McPhee in his Audi. Alongside him will be Richard Hampstead, Scott Newton in third, Blake Neck in fourth, Hayden Dodman fifth. The first five all in Audis. Jordan McDonald, Luca Jacobin, Shane Van Gisbergen got to eighth on his second lap. Mitch McLeod in ninth, and Trent Thomas rounds out the top 10.
Ian Ford in 11th place with Ethan Warren in 12th. Warren Pickering lines up in lucky 13th. David Miller in 14th. Ross Rizzo rounding out the top 15 with Pat Gallo 16th. 17th, David Sanford. Corey Ott in 18th. And the top 20 rounded out by Matthew Kidd and Paul Mansell.
Carl Raper in 21st. So we've got Rod Lynn, Dean Briffer, Dean Blurton in 24th, Joseph Falcamata, then Sam Ross, Henry King, Bailey Clive, Dale Galenti, and Mitchell Spithill in 30th position.
Bruce Ross lining up in 31st, with Tyson McEvoy in 32nd, Michael Korolev lining up in 33rd, Derek Nichols in 34th, 35th place, Dave Clements, Daniel Stevens 36th, 37th to 40th, Rob Carmichael, Rick Summerhays, Troy Allen, and Ben McSweeney.
Last page of drivers, we'll see Jeff Vincent, Chris Hill, Elliot Darrow, TJ Brown, and Chris Rawson all in this one. 45 cars will be 44 with Elliot being one of the admins, but a massive field of cars. This is going to be phenomenal. Remember, the one to watch for, position number 12. That is the key position in this race. Any lower than 12th, you have to bribe your way in with the admins. They are open to them. There have been bribes already thrown around. There have been dollar amounts thrown around. We'll have to see some drivers dig deep to get through Rev's Rise. We are...
Oh, McPhee jumped the start.
He will have a penalty. Away we go.
Oh, have a look.
Oh, a lot of drivers struggling.
Yeah, Richard Amstead in particular, along with McPhee, really struggling to get the traction in that Audi. So leading out of turn 1 is going to be Scott Newton.
Jump for Newton. Oh, almost contact between McDonald and McPhee. And a good start as well from Hayden Dodman. He's jumped up to 4th already. He got ahead of Blake Neck. Mitchell McLeod, Luca Jackerman side by side as they come down the back straight. But Draft Fest, lock it in. It's engaged. Have a look at the weaving.
Yeah, that's crazy there on lap 1. Richard Hamstead already looking to make moves. He's making one on Blake Neck. Neck going really wide in the carousel there. And Hamstead, look at the traction of Hamstead as he now goes to make a move on Hayden Dodman. So Hamstead already trying to make up for his start line mistake.
Transfer spot at the moment. Warren Pickering is in that spot, but have a look at the guys behind trying to hunt him down. David Stanford and Ian Ford.
Oh, it's big contact there. Hayden Dodman's into the fence.
Oh, yeah,
He's at Hampstead as well. Major damage to those two cars.
Oh, that is crazy there. And Hamstead making, with Hamstead and Dodman making more contact as they try to get back on the racing line.
He's giving him a serve. Oh, he's taking him out. Hayden Dodman got served.
Oh, he certainly did. It looked to me like just a little bit of jostling there. Not optimal if you're Hayden Dodman, and it looks like involved in that also was Paul Mansell. He was a passenger, completely innocent.
Very, very disappointing end for those guys. Hayden probably left Richard enough room, except for Jordan McDonald was a little bit slow, and then the Dodman well and truly got served, and unfortunate for Paul Mansell to get involved in that one. We come back live. Cars absolutely filing into the pits that have got black flag penalties from the start of the race, because as we said, there'll be a lot of drivers who are not comfortable. Look at Ian Ford's car. His car was absolutely destroyed, crabbing very, very badly. He'll get back out there, but he's all the way back in 26. We've got 20 cars in the pits.
Yeah, that's crazy. Drivers like Pickering, Dodman, Carl Raper, Ross Rizzo as well in the pits as well. Paul Mansell, Ethan Warren. Goodness me. There's quite a few cars there who were in and around that transfer spot that really could have benefited, but unfortunately they're out.
While that's happened, Damien McPhee's just taken the lead over Scott Newton too.
Yeah, good move too at the carousel. We've got going on screen that they're 3rd and 4th. We've got a couple of cars that have actually escaped back to the pits, unfortunately. But it's McPhee, Newton, Blake Neck now in 3rd. Gordon McDonald, Luca Jacobin, Mitchell McLeod. These guys are just sort of finding themselves and finding their feet. Shane Van Gisbergen finds himself in 7th, with Trent Thomas in 8th. David Stanford now in 9th. Matthew Kidd in 10th. Dean Briffer is the one at risk at the moment. Finds himself in P12.
Yeah, and look at P13 backwards. Tyson McEvoy, Michael Spithill, Bailey Clive, Bruce Ross, and Rob Carmichael all involved in their own little battle pack. These guys don't want to get too racy too early. Remember, they want to chase down Briffer in that 12th spot, so they got to work together a little.
McPhee did get that penalty. We thought he would have a penalty from the start of the race. He is in now, so probably a good move from him to serve that on the 2nd lap, get himself out, and probably won't find himself in as much traffic. We know the pace that he's got. It is going to be tough for him to come back, though.
Yeah, certainly. I somehow doubt that he'll be able to do a Ryan O'Sullivan and get himself back up to the transfer spot. So McPhee pulling into his box and serving his penalty now. So that promotes Blake Neck to 2nd, and he looks like he's going for 1st.
Oh, he's going to have a look around the outside. Looks like there's some lap traffic in front of him too that might play into this.
Oh, and just behind as well, Luca Jacobin, good move on Jordan McDonald. McDonald comes back through. They're going 2 by 2, Noah's Ark style.
Goodness me, and Neck having a couple of internet issues.
God!
Oh, there we go,
Into the
John
wall.
McDonald. Oh, he doesn't want to be too much on the racing line there. Well, McDonald immediately escaping back to the pits. That was not a very safe place to be in. So, wow, McDonald taken out of a very high position there. That's unfortunate.
Let's put this battle pack that we were watching. They're now in the transfer spot as Bruce Ross and Bailey Clive come together. Coming into the boot, and Clive with massive damage. Bruce Ross has managed to get through. He has a little bit of damage, but he might be able to push on. But Tyson McAvoy and Rob Carmichael, they are now the transfer spots.
Yeah, they certainly are. So everything has changed in just the space of half a lap. This is crazy.
I'm just going to point out, we got a message before from the admin from V8 Scops, Mike Koroloff. He said, there's no way in hell I'll make the top 12, but I am definitely putting forward a bribe to make the final. The way he's going at the moment, he might nearly make it through.
Yeah, who knows at this rate? That's pretty crazy. The amount of
leaders.
carnage that's happened. Yes, the leader's neck is once again right on the back of Scott Newton. He's been monstering him for the better part of the last lap. So now Newton is going to have to go defensive coming into the carousel. You can see Neck just searching for any hint of a slipstream here as they go side by side down the straight. Luca Jackaman has a really good front seat to this battle. We'll see if Neck can try and get past him here. Newton has the preferred line though. See how Blake Neck can use the traction on the outside. He can't do much there. So, oh, hang on. Yeah, he's going to go for it here. Oh, Scott Newton just a little bit easier on the brakes. Neck all over the ripple strip, and he's managed to just get the lead by half a car length, but Newton's going to come back at him here. Neck, once again, super late on the brakes, using the ABS of that Audi to his advantage. Have a look at that!
Wow.
Awesome move there by Blake Neck. Good respect by the two drivers, just giving each other plenty of racing room. We've already seen how much drama there's been with guys having a race, but these guys go plenty of racing room. They know there's still a long way to go, and a good move there for Scott, just to back out of it a little bit and, just push on.
Yeah, Damien McPhee in the fence. McPhee's gone around at the carousel. Not sure what's happened there. We'll see if we can get a replay. I've been told as well there was a massive incident on lap 1, which is why we saw all those drivers fanning into the pits. Get a replay of that post-race, but it looks like McPhee was actually served. Contact between he and Ben McSweeney. We'll see if we can another look at that. And it looks like McPhee may have got hit twice.
Oh, that's no good.
They come back across in front of McSweeney to cover the line and probably caught McSweeney off guard. And I'm not sure who the second car was that made contact. As we come back live, go to the battle for 13th, 14th and 15th up the inside.
Oh, goodness me. Chris Hill, big move there on the inside. It looks like he hasn't been able to carry that momentum. Bruce Ross now going side by side with him through the S's. Is he going to stick the nose in? He is. Oh, and Chris Hill almost getting into the wall there, but both of those guys gave each other plenty of room, which is really good to see. So Rob Carmichael has managed to get away from them there. They got quite a gap there to Tyson McAvoy up in 12th place. Once again, it's a case of they don't want to fight too hard. They want to try and catch up to him so they all have a chance at that transfer spot.
Going back to the battle for 2nd and 3rd because Scott Newton is under pressure from Luca Jackaman. Jackaman, thought about making a move up the inside, not quite close enough. They've got lap traffic involved there as well. The redback car of
Pat Gallo.
Yeah. Found himself in a spot he doesn't want to be in. A scary pack of cars. Also closing up as well. Gap between Mitchell McLeod and Shane Van Gisbergen is closing. And I must say there is no love lost between these two guys. So this could get very, very juicy.
It certainly could. There's been a fair share of interesting happenings between Mitchell McLeod and Shane Van Gisbergen over the years, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come together. Gallo just breaks nice and early to let those guys through, and looking just behind those guys, Trent Thomas. If anything happens between Van Gisbergen and McLeod, he'll be sure to capitalise.
SVG almost into the wall at Madison's wall. Very, very close as we go just ahead. Luca Jackaman. Look at the draft and defending from Scott Newton.
Yeah, Newton's... it's interesting how much they've dropped off from the back of Blake Neck in the last couple of laps. Yeah, just going through on Mitch McLeod there with a big dive at the carousel. So he's through, and I don't know if McLeod has anything to try and come back at him.
Very good move in the end there for Ben Gisbergen on McLeod. And Mitch not letting it go, though. A little bit late on the brakes, almost into the rear as the scene. More shuffling a position back in the field. Rod Lynn and Mike Korolev going side by side into the carousel. That is not what you want to do.
Oh, no. Certainly not. And Carmichael and Ross, once again going side by side into the boot. But Ross going really late on the brakes, basically doing what Neck did to Newton. Just getting that traction on the outside, squaring off the corner, and he's managed to get the position.
Just behind these guys, the driver that we need to keep an eye on, we saw him in the pits on lap 1, is Ian Ford. His lap times in comparison to McAvoy in that transfer spot, 2 seconds quicker a lap. Gap between those guys is 10 seconds. We have 9 laps to go. That's not over. It's not sorted. It is not settled. Watch out for Ian Ford coming through the field.
Yeah, certainly. That'll be interesting to watch. So just having a look. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm seeing a move potentially happening. David Sanford v. Richard Hampstead for 7th and 8th. Hampstead in the draft of Sanford. Oh, taken to the grass. As you do. That was crazy. Especially with no traction control. That would have been quite interesting from Hampstead's perspective, but he is now through.
The Hampstead now up to 7th. A race not without controversy, so seeing a change of position for that transfer spot. Almost contact between McAvoy and Spithill. Don't make contact, boys. You guys are through at the moment. You don't want to end that.
Yeah, certainly not. They don't want to battle too hard here. They're basically safe for the next 2 or 3 seconds back from Chris Hill. They just need to try and maintain that pace to the end of the race. Otherwise, Hill and Ross, if they manage to get drafting and work together. Oh, yeah.
Car rounds, Bailey Clive. We've been in the wharves already in this race. We'll see if we can pick up a CPR replay as to what happened to him.
Looks like you got a bit of a helping hand. Yeah.
Former teammates coming together there, and Rob Carmichael and Bailey Clive. I don't think there was any intent there from Carmichael to make contact. It just sort of happened with the flow of the corner, and Clive is out of the race. Too much damage for him. He's returned to the pits.
I'll tell you what, guys, as we go back live, Blake Neck is actually starting to lose a bit of ground to the guys behind him. He's made a couple of mistakes, saw him almost losing the rear a few times, and now he's got Scott Newton and Luca Jackaman right on the back, so this is a proper top 3 battle now.
Getting juicy, this is getting spicy, this is what we want to see halfway through, 7.5 laps to go.
Are we surprised, guys, to see these boys battling it out up the front as hard as they are when they know they're safe for the transfer? I know it's hard to take the racer out of everyone and you get the bit between your teeth, but boy, there's a lot on the line if they make a bit of contact and miss out on that transfer spot.
Well, if they didn't race, we wouldn't have much of a show to commentate on, would we, guys?
Don't want a parade, do we?
Yeah, they're doing us a service.
Ian Ford up the inside, move done on Rod Lynn. He is now up into 17th position. And ahead of him now is Mike Korolev, who's sitting at 16th quite safely at the moment. 4 spots away. But Ian Ford now is about 11 seconds away from that transfer spot, and he is on a charge.
He certainly is. Wondering if he'll have enough time to try and get up to the back of these guys, assuming pace stays the same. Have a look at the run that Ian Ford has there on Michael Korolev.
One bonus that Ian Ford has got at the moment is the guys that are in that transfer spot, the 11th and 12th position guys, the McAvoy and Spithill, are fighting very aggressively. That is going to slow them down and mean that Ian Ford has a legitimate chance of catching up to the back. Ford now up to 16th.
Yeah, doing very well. Meanwhile, as we keep an eye on Ford, I tell you what, the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th is really hotting up as well. SVG hasn't pulled away from McLeod, and now Trent Thomas is up on the back of these guys.
So McLeod's got a bit of a run here on SVG. Will he think about moving up the inside? He positions
course he
the car.
will.
He's going to put it there, and there he does. Puts it right up the inside.
Yep, and he's managing to hold it really nicely on the inside as well. Shane just not able to respond to that.
Oh, Thomas thought about making a move at the last second there about going back through. But how good's this parity in this race? An Audi, a Ferrari, and a Mercedes battling at the front. Battling in this pack. Audi, Mercedes in that top 3. So very, very good job from the admin and the organisers to make these cars pretty close.
Yes, indeed. And you know what, SVG, looking at McLeod there, attempting to throw one up the inside here at the heel of the boot, but it can easily go wrong. Oh, there we go, McLeod running a little wide. He can get it back, though, in the second phase of the corner. He still lost a bit of ground, though.
I think it's fairly safe in this part. There's only really a move maybe up the inside here in near pit entry, but I think Shane will just sort of sit back and assess how this race is going to play out.
I think it's smarter to wait for turn 1, get a better exit out of the final corner, line your opponent up, and then dive down the inside at turn 1, which there is every possibility of happening. Probably not quite close enough. We're going to see something at the carousel, though, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3 wide.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking forward to this. So I guess we can stay with these guys for a little bit longer as they come up the hill through these magnificent S's. You know, they're close to flat out in a V8 supercar. They're basically nothing in a GT3.
Here comes a run. Van Gisbergen's got the run on McLeod. What's he going to do? Is he just going to sit? No. He's going to have a look up the inside? No. Last of the
McLeod
late
sort of
breakers.
sending it a little bit, yeah. So you can tell once McLeod got that position from SVG, he's not exactly inclined to give it back.
While we're watching this as well, I'm just going to alert our attention back to that battle that the guys were having in the last transfer spot in 11th and 12th. McAvoy and Spithill. Have a look at what's happening behind them as they're side by side again. Bruce Hill is closed up. He's now only 1.5 seconds away. Bruce Ross is right behind. But Ian Ford is not far away from those guys at all. And he's lapping around about 2.5 seconds a lap quicker. These guys need to be careful.
They need to be single file. Chris Hill is just loving what he's seeing up front. He sees these guys diving up the inside of each other. They're just slowing each other up.
Oh, contact!
There we go. So Chris Hill sees this and says, "You little beauty, this is a transfer spot up for grabs."
Yeah, certainly. And you know what? That's exactly the opposite of what I was saying they should be doing earlier. They need to be able to work together and try and defend that transfer spot. But I tell you what, Chris Hill has just taken advantage of their continued battling.
Oh, here comes Hill.
Oh, he's had a touch. He's gone round. Oh, he's made contact, but he's gathered it up. No, he's gone again. More contact.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Ross nearly got cleaned up. He got through. But Spithill now well and truly dropping back. And he's going to have to fight
Hill's
hard.
had a big moment coming into the final turn. He's under the grass. Oh, he's going to win.
Oh, gathered it.
Just dropped it at the end of that there. So
and
at
now,
the end of it, Spithill gets back through.
And Bruce Ross moves into 12th.
Oh, the Ross just sat back, watched. He's been in the wars. He's been cleaned up numerous times in this race, and now finds himself in that magic P12 as the battle for the lead is getting very, very hot. Jackerman has dropped, and he is now under pressure from Mitchell McLeod, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Trent Thomas.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm just going to rewind and have a look at what happened to Jackerman, because he wasn't that close to them that time last lap.
No, he wasn't at all, and now that I've just noticed as well on the timing sheets, have a look at how close Ian Ford is from Bruce Ross. 7 seconds and closing. We've got 6 minutes left in the race, 4.5 laps. Pace-wise, Ian Ford has enough to do it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get past these guys as well. It's going to be very, very close for Ian Ford, but we're going to have to watch this with very, very close intent.
I think working against Ford is that Bruce Ross in the transfer spot, he's got a bit of clear air around him now, so he can just sort of look forward, just hit his marks and just concentrate on this next 5 or 6 minutes to go.
The only downside with this race and this track having clear air ahead of you is you've got no one to draft and the guys behind you do. So they do gain a fair bit of time being that second, third car along. And Ian Ford has got drafting partners the whole way back as we go back to the leaders, because Scott Newton, he looks very, very menacing on the back of Blake Neck at the moment.
He does. That battle for the lead has been going on, and now Blake is the one being forced to go defensive here. Have a look at the draft, the run that Scott has on. Neck moving over just slightly, still leaves Newton room on the outside, and it looks to me like this could be a potential move up the inside from Newton. Oh, they continue to go side by side.
Oh, great racing on exit. They give each other a little bit of racing room. Oh, they're going to be careful, though. They don't want to make a mistake. We're in the dying moments of this race, but they're still battling out as hard as they did on lap 1.
Oh,
yeah, and there you go. That's exactly what Neck did to Newton. Newton did it back.
Blake's not going to give up here. He's thinking about the inside. No.
Ooh.
Oh, but he's just run a little bit wide, Scott.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. Blake Neck knows that move is possible because he did it himself for the lead earlier on. He might try to set it back up.
Also noticing on the timing sheets that Bruce Ross has moved ahead of Michael Spithill. Spithill to Ford, 12th to 14th, 4 seconds.
Oh,
it is on. It is on for that last transfer spot. Watch out for Ian Ford as he makes his way. Actually, it's down to 2 seconds. SVG around.
Oh, no!
Van Gisbergen, there may have been contact between he and Trent Thomas. We'll see if we can pick up a replay. No.
Looks like Van Gisbergen got the left rear just on the grass on the exit.
Yeah, lost it on his own.
Sorry.
Going to hold on for position, transfer position, because that is the key. Make it into the transfer spot. But, change of position as well in the battle for the last transfer spot as Chris Hill now gets back into the potential transfer spot. We are going to cut away to that battle because have a look at how close Hill, Spithill and Ford are. This is going to be an incredible final 3 laps of this race.
It certainly is. The battle for the lead is continuing to rage on with Neck going around the outside of Newton at the carousel, attempting to anyway, but that battle for the transfer position is really where it's at because you may very well win a race in this little race night, but it doesn't mean anything coming to the final.
Going back to the leaders quickly, it's on for the lead again.
Yeah.
Change of position, Blake Neck back through. Go back now, up the inside. Oh, contact!
Oh, contact!
Here comes Ian Ford through.
Oh, he got gifted 2 spots. Have a look at that.
And have a look at what position Ian Ford is in now. Position number 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So Ian Ford doing extremely well there to make his way back. Remember, he started in 11th, so he's managed to make his way back up almost to where he started.
Hit it at the end of lap 1 for a damaged car. Got himself all the way back up from about 35th. Now in P number 12. 2 laps to go.
Crazy.
At the front, Blake Neck defending aggressively from Scott Newton. Newton really wants to get this done.
So back behind there, Spithill just had a spin on exit 2, so that's taken him right out of contention of possibly getting back that spot. So missing out on the transfer there.
Unfortunate for him, and of course, as we've said, there is the option of giving bribes to... Oh, contact!
Oh, contact up the front! Wow, Scott Newton! Side by side with Blake Neck! Able to hold on to it, though.
Good driving from Blake and Scott, both to regain and hold on. Wow, this is on.
It certainly is. It's really getting aggressive there up the front. You can see... There's no trying to force a move up the inside just yet, but when they cross the line next for the final lap, that's when it's really going to heat up.
Yep, we'll confirm that this is the second to last lap. We've still got a minute left on the clock, so 2 laps left in this race. Neck versus Newton is well and truly on. Ian Ford has already pulled a 1.5 second gap in that transfer spot, final transfer spot, so it looks like for now he is going to finish in P number 12. Oh, Blake Neck runs it right out to the absolute limit. Playing for keeps here. This is great.
This is fantastic. It's going to be white flag this time around. So we've got battles all through the top four. We got Neck versus Newton for position number 1. Jackaman versus McLeod for 3rd and 4th is still on. That could change. But up the front here, oh my goodness. We have no idea how this is going to end.
Oh, almost contact coming out of turn 1. Newton had to compromise his run a little bit, but it doesn't really matter too much. As long as you have some momentum coming through the S, you will be fine by the end of the straight because the draft is that strong. Neck defending.
He's going to have to go around the outside. You can see the toe. He moves the car. He hasn't quite got a run on him here.
Gonna over under.
Yeah, we'll see right here. This is what Newton is going to do here. He's going to try and go side by side with Neck up to the toe of the boot, right? And that way he'll be able to do that move around the outside. But I don't see him doing that at the moment. That's what he could have done.
What about final turn? He keeps close enough just to get to the final turn and dives up the inside.
Yeah, that's entirely reasonable. It looks like he's actually fallen back from Neck slightly.
Didn't get the exit he needed out of that turn, and that's cost him big time.
Of course, you got to remember too, you don't want to do anything silly on this last lap and take yourself out of the race. All you want to do is get into that final 12. Anything can happen from there. We don't know who's going to start the race from pole. We don't know what position anyone will start. As long as you're in the 12, you're in the race. Anything can happen from there. But, wow, what a race this has been the whole way through. Another phenomenal one. We've still got 2 more to go.
Yeah, and you know what? This has been my favorite race of the night so far, just because the amount of battling that we've seen has been fantastic. But Blake Neck is going to cross the line to win the GT3 preliminary with Scott Newton coming home in 2nd. Looks like Jackaman is going to hold off McLeod for the podium.
Last 3 transfer spots, 10th, 11th and 12th is not settled. And if any of these guys make contact, just in the background is Chris Hill. A little bit away, but if one of these guys spin around, probably not enough of a gap for Hill. Probably could come through, but McAvoy looks like he's okay at the moment. But Bruce Ross, we know, would have a bit of damage from the battering ram that he's turned into throughout this race. Get through the final corner, it will get it home. So good job from those guys in the field.
Well done, Ian Ford. That's a great comeback.
Just hearing as well, we're just going to confirm some things from race 1. After the incident between Ryan O'Sullivan and Daniel Williams, Williams has been given a wild card into the main event. Now also with the incident between Hayden Dodman and Richard Hampstead, Hayden Dodman has also been given a wild card in the main event. So there are wild cards into the main event available that the admins can administer if they deem fit. And they are also open to bribes. So if you are wanting to get in and you haven't made the top 12, make sure you open your wallet. Send the admin some messages. Tell them that you're going to pay for your spots. I've heard of $50 and $100 amounts up there for getting themselves through. So if you really want to race in the main event, open your wallet, donate. Reese, do you want to run through the results?
I certainly shall. So Blake Neck, your winner, with Scott Newton coming home in 2nd. Luca Jackaman and Mitch McLeod 3rd and 4th, with Trent Thomas rounding out the top 5, up from 10th. Good run. Richard Hampstead, unfortunately, not finishing where he wanted thanks to that start line mishap, but he comes home in 6th. Shane Van Gisbergen in 7th. Matt Kidd from 19th to 8th, and Dean Briffer from 23rd to 9th, 32nd to 10th for Tyson McAvoy.
Drives through the field. Bruce Ross finishes in 11th. And Ford, good drive after pitting on lap 1 to get the final transfer spot. He has finished in 12th. Chris Hill, Chris Rollinson, Damien McPhee, good drive from him as well. He had to serve a penalty and also got turned. Ended up in 15th position. Michael Spithill, in 16th in the wars in that race. Carl Raper, Mike Koroloff, Warren Pickering and Rod Lynn round out the top 20.
In 21st position, we have Dave Clements with David Miller in 22nd. 23rd, Eugene Blurton with Daniel Stevens in 24th. 25th, Rob Carmichael with Joseph Falcamata in 26th. Ross Rizzo, after starting 15th, finishes in 27th, as does Ethan Warren in 28th. Paul Mansell, 29th, and rounding out the top 30, Sam Ross.
Over the page once again to Henry King, Ben McSweeney, Pat Gallo, Troy Allen, Sal Galenti, Rick Summerhays, Derek Nichols, Jeff Vincent, David Stanford, and Bailey Clive, and the rest of our DNFs. Fortunately, Jordan McDonald, Corey Ott, Hayden Dodman, TJ Brown, and Elliot Darrow DNFing that race. 2 down, 2 to go. Final preliminary up next. We head to the Porsche race, and I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you stick with us here on Vance Online. While we're running our little break, make sure you donate. We are now at $11,216. Let's get to over 12,000 by the end of the night. I think we can do it. So make sure you donate. The link is plastered everywhere in all of our descriptions of our broadcast. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We will bring you race number 3. Head to Porsche country. 25 minutes ahead for those guys. We'll be back in a moment.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
But
We are back. Apologies for not showing the lap 1 crash because we're running out of time. We are ready to go with the Porsche race. Quickly run through a little bit of the grid. Griffin Gardner will start from pole. Gary Hamilton in second. Scott Kozlowski in third. Anthony Winkelman fourth. Dylan Shepard fifth. Got Larnack in 6th, Zach Hanlon in 7th, and Grant Hines, Ash Lear, and Wayne Hewitt. Will leave the rest of the grid up on screen, Reese. It's going to be a very, very heated one. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Looking forward to seeing how this goes.
Yeah, certainly. You know, the Porsche 911 Cup car, very similar in terms of the strategies you have to employ to the V8 supercar. So it will be interesting to see what these guys can do. I was just waiting for the race to begin.
We made it in just in time. We've got 2 seconds left. We've got through the grid. 39 cars in this race, which means we've had 125 drivers overall for the night. Phenomenal job. Well done to the AusNZ community as we are green, we are go. Gary Hamilton and Griffin Gardner side by side into turn 1.
Yes, indeed. And have a look at them going through turn 1 now. Absolutely insane stuff in these Porsches.
Oh, side by side going up the S3 wide. Martin Turner.
Oh, don't do it.
Wayne Hewitt. Oh, a little bit of contact. This is messy. This is good. This is exciting. Bring it on, boys. And have a look at the front. They're 4 wide down the straight.
That is absolutely crazy.
Settle it in, boys. Oh, they've got settled. They've got controlled. Winkleman around the outside. Side by side with Sislowski, Hanlon, and Shepherd side by side as well. And Larnack and Lear also in on this one as well. This is an intense battle. So we've got cars around in the background. A big crash through.
Oh, yeah.
Carousel.
That's huge. That's huge.
Morton also involved in another incident.
Oh, 6th and 5th of that massive carnage too! Huge carnage! Scott's in the wall!
Yeah, so let's have a look at what happened there. It looked to me like Larnack was just moving over and Shepherd was already alongside him a little bit, so both of them ended up taking each other out, and that's a huge crash that resulted. Shepherd was sent sky high.
Gonna get a replay of everything that happened there. We'll start off with the first incident. Wow, what a lap 1 this has been. There's a little bit of contact, brake lock up from Simon Black, and then from there, saw a few guys come together. It looks like James Bell was one of those cars. Upside down went a couple in the background. Then we've got Philip Morton, who also got involved in an incident. And then this is the big one. Around goes Larnack, around goes Dylan Shepherd. Into the fence also Ashley. Those guys, they're contenders. They are done.
Yeah, so that's really messed up the field a bit. Zach Hanlon's made his way out from 7th to 4th. Brenton Hobson up into 7th place from 12th. David Mulhall as well in 8th place. The transfer spot at the moment is occupied by Zach Raddatz, who's made his way up from 28th.
Great work. Oh,
what
wow.
a lap 1 though.
Talk about catching your breath.
And I
Driving tonight, though. People coming through the field. Ryan O'Sullivan in the first race, Ian Ford in the second one, and now you just said Zach, who come from 28th to the transfer spot at the moment. That's awesome.
Yeah, certainly. And I was commentating blind for the first half of that lap. I still hadn't loaded into the sim. But this is crazy. The top 5 have broken away from the rest of the field. Griffin Gardner, Gary Hamilton, Anthony Winkleman, Zach Hanlon, and Scott Sislowski, all in a train of their own here. This is going to get really juicy. And have a look at the battle from 8th back, too.
and behind David Mulhall, I should say, Shannon Mason. Got Taliantich as well. This one, Zach Raddatz as well. So a very, very intense battle the whole way through this one.
Yes, indeed.
Almost contact between Raddatz and Taliantich there.
Yeah, Zach was just putting the nose in there, just letting Michael Taliantich know that, look, he's there and he needs to get on with it because he doesn't want to think about what's happening behind him. Wayne Taylor, who's trying to chase him down, he's chasing after that transfer spot. So the pressure's on behind and he needs to get on with it. Yeah,
pretty crazy there from Wayne Taylor. Last lap, he gained 6/10 as Zach Raddatz 48.1, Wayne Taylor at 48.3. So Raddatz does have the measure of Taylor on that particular lap, but you can see the gaps are starting to close. Look at Wayne Hewitt and Josh Anderson.
And just up there for 8th and 9th too.
Oh my
Shannon
God.
Mason.
Here we go.
Oh God, Christopher, he's looking up the inside. They're going to go side by side down the back straight.
Oh, don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh,
Let's
he's
do
going
it.
to think about it. No, he's getting on the grass. He's got to be careful. Oh, he's spinning him off him backwards. He's off into the wall.
Oh, come
no.
on.
That's devastating for David.
Oh, that's a real shame. It just looked like...
Yeah, look, unfortunately...
Was Christopher even going to make the corner breaking that late?
Just needs to be a little bit more patient. He didn't need to push and get on the grass, and of course that's when it all started. Unfortunately, like you said, David just massive off, and that's taken him right out of contention.
Yeah, what a shame there for David Mulhall. We got quite a few cars with some form of damage out there. Christopher Round going side by side with Wayne Hewitt now.
These guys are in the transfer area. So we've got Josh Anderson now in the transfer spot after that incident. And seen in the past, Josh Anderson driving Aussie racing cars. He does know how to race. He is very, very aggressive in sim racing. He's not scared.
Look at the inside.
I was about to say he's not scared to throw it up the inside and then right on cue.
And then he goes around the outside. He'll shut the door. He got a clip. He got a clip, but he held onto it. Nice save.
Yeah, that's the thing. Wayne Taylor was not going to move from that inside line. It seems like Josh Anderson just cut down on him a little too soon, but well held all the same. And now Christopher Round going side by side with Wayne Taylor. A little bit of contact there in the middle of turn one. That's not going to help his run down the following straight.
Oh, no.
Wayne Hewitt's put it in there. Can he get alongside? No. Oh, gets up on the curb. Got to be careful. That really unsettles these cars when you bounce off those curves.
Go. The draft is going to come into play once again. Taylor's basically run away here, but have a look at Jordan Pruden. He's got one hell of a run there on Christopher Round and Wayne Hewitt. I don't think he'll be able to make the move on Owen yet, but he has gotten by Wayne Hewitt, and now Wayne Hewitt is basically going to be left here to Brett Douglas, Benjamin Smith, and Martin Turner if he doesn't get a bit of a run.
Back up the front, that top five have settled. They are maintaining position. They're not really changing too much. They're not changing too much in regards to speed. Benjamin Smith up the inside of Brett Douglas and moved done. So Ben Smith now up into position number 16, but that car looks a little bit damaged at the rear. The ASM Porsche.
Yeah, certainly does. I don't think there's many cars at the moment without battle scars, and remember we're only on
Griffin
lap
Gardner's
4
dropped down
race.
to 5th. He's lost 4 spots from the lead. Now back to 5th. Let's see if we can pick up what's happened to Griffin Gardner.
He just got on the brakes and pinched the front left. Off into the gravel trap he went, so from the lead down into 5th place. Not good.
I can say that looked like that was going to dart left into the wall there, so actually did a good job to recover that.
He certainly did, and now he's back with his teammate Grant Hines in the similar coloured car.
Go back to that battle. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th on screen. Zach Raddat's pulled a little bit of a gap from Josh Anderson, who's got ahead of Talyancic. Talyancic and Taylor are going at it quite aggressively. They need to work together, though, to make sure those guys in that following pack do not catch up.
Yeah, and remember, they're teammates as well, Talyancic and Taylor, so they don't want to get in each other's way too much. They are in the last 2 transfer positions, so they need to be careful here. Christopher Round, we've already seen that he is quite the aggressor when it comes to overtakes. They have to beware if he eventually catches up to them, but Jordan Pruden continuing to harass the back of him there. Oh, and have a look just behind them. Martin Turner getting passed by Benjamin Smith. Very late move coming into
Anderson.
the boot.
Anderson, big move at the toe. Gets through. Yeah, you saw in the background that move done, and Jordan, his car looks a little bit better in that it doesn't have any damage at all. Looks fairly clean. So we'll see if he can close up the back and catch up to the back of Wayne Taylor. Here comes Wayne Hewitt looking up the inside.
Yes, indeed. Always just having a look, though. It's hard to put a move in these Porsches because they focus so much on that application of traction. Yes, change for the lead.
Winkelmann through on Hamilton. Winkelmann leads from Hamilton, Hanlon, Sislowski, and Gardner, but the top 5 separated by 1.7 seconds. It is incredibly close at the front.
Certainly is, and you know it's at a slow rolling boil, this this top 5 at the moment. All of these guys are just biding their time, waiting to make those moves. We've seen some very aggressive maneuvers and some lapses, I think, in concentration throughout the field, but these guys have managed to hold it together very nicely. Zach Hanlon in the draft of Gary Hamilton.
Guys are getting pretty racy at the front, aren't they? They're absolutely playing for keeps. They're not worried about these transfer spots. They want to win.
Yeah, of course. And can you begrudge them that, as Hanlon continues to complete the move there on Hanlon? And he's up into Hanlon completes the move on Hamilton up into P2. Now Scott Kozlowski is hangering in the back of Hamilton. Hangering? Is that even a word?
It is now.
Yeah, it is tonight.
Okay, cool. Reese Gardner approved.
Look, we can make any word a real word for money tonight. If you want us to say a special word, we're happy. If you donate a certain amount of money, we'll throw special words in. Look, we might even throw in scafey quotes. We'll do whatever. If you donate and tell us what you want us to do in the broadcast, we can do it.
Within reason.
Yes, true.
And lewdness.
I am not singing. The last time I sung on a stream, that went viral. So no, that's not happening tonight. Benjamin Smith. Oh, have a look at the damage of Benjamin Smith. What's happened to him?
Oh yeah, that is, well, yeah. Smith has been carrying that damage for quite some time. He's had a couple of bangs and biffs with Hewitt and Turner actually in those last couple of corners.
It's going to get a CPR replay on that because there's contact between Smith and Hewitt.
Oh yeah, he's actually fallen behind them now.
Yep. Got back Martin Turner through on Smith. Yeah, that damage looks very, very, very bad, and wouldn't be surprised. Oh, geez, real contact between Smith and Turner, and then Smith lost it a little himself. So that's what caused him to go around, as we're seeing Griffin Gardner, Scott Kozlowski side by side.
Yeah, these guys really playing for keeps down there in the top 5, but they seem to have sorted themselves out for at least one more corner. I'm keeping an eye on the final transfer spot because Jordan Pruden has managed to get past Christopher Round, and he seems to be just chipping away slightly at Wayne Taylor and Michael Taliancic. Not by much, but he's becoming a threat to them now.
Big thank you to everyone who is tuning in and joining us tonight. We, I say we as in the organising committee for this event, are absolutely overwhelmed and dumbfounded by the amount of people who A, have participated, B, donated, and C, watching this amazing, fun night of racing. Big thank you to everyone for tuning in. We are loving bringing it to you. If you haven't donated yet, please do. GoFundMe.com/Matty-Toirkens. We are at, I can't believe this figure. We looked at the start of the, actually Scott Kozlowski, big moment.
I was going to say. That's
held on.
Really... Yeah, have a look at Grant Hines. He's right in it now. I think he might have actually had to back off a little bit because Kozlowski was so slow.
We're looking at the start of the day. We've got asked, we're on about $8,500, and the guys asked if we can try and push hard and get us over the 10,000 before the broadcast. I said, no way, we are going to smash that. We are at $11,246. Big thank you to everyone who has donated. There is still time. There are still bribes up for grabs. There are transfer spots up available if you donate the right amount. So please do.
Yes, indeed. Remember, it's all going to a good cause. Once again, Matt Toirkens and his family. It's difficult to afford cancer treatment, so every little bit helps.
Yep. Not only the treatment as well, the other expenses, of course, not being able to work, so dropping back from a 2-income to a 1-income household, it puts extra strains and stresses, and all the funds that we raise just help ease the family a little bit from those extra stresses that you do not need when you're going through these sort of things. So please donate, please give, and every single cent even, is going to Matty and his family to help them out through this tough time.
Having a look at this battle between Scott Kozlowski, meanwhile, and Grant Hines. They haven't let each other go over this last lap, guys.
Not at all, and it's very, very tight. We're just hearing a brake lock at the front. That battle at the front is getting very, very racy as well, because Zach Hanlon now in a second. He's past Gary Hamilton. And Hanlon looks like he might try and take this spot away. Oh, here we go.
Coming in through the S's, the car looks pretty good. And, of course, he's going to have the toe on his side as well. Let's see what he does here.
Oh, Winkleman defending as soon as he gets out of the S as well. This is... Oh, no. Oh, no.
Here he goes. He's trying around the outside.
He gonna do it. Oh, Winkleman a little bit later on the brakes. He's holding the inside, but Hanlon had a little bit of a wider entry. I tell you what, this has brought Gary Hamilton back into contention. God, the top four are inseparable right now.
Reese, I'm just going to drag our attention away for a second. How much will it cost for you to sing the chorus of Let's Get Physical by Olivia Newton-John?
I don't know that song at all, sorry.
All right. So that puts it up to about $2,000.
Yeah, it does. That would require me taking time away from the broadcast, learning the chorus, and then singing it. And that's time that I just don't have right now. Have a look at this race up the front.
I know, it's on, and there's battle packs starting to form everywhere as well. The 10th, 11th, 12th battle is heating up, and the Jordan Pruden not too far off the back of Wayne Taylor. Another battle pack going on behind them with Hewitt Turner, and also another one as well with Brett Douglas, Ben Smith, and Brendan Jackson. But we'll stay with the leaders for now. We've got 5 laps to go. Oh, this is going to be good.
I love it. I love how these guys are racing and pushing and just having a... I bet they're all just smiling so much, just loving this race and just seeing how hard they're pushing each other. It's great.
Seen James Bell jumping into the pits. He had damage from earlier in the race, so it looks like he's succumbed to that damage. They, at the front, not quite as close this time as Hanlon, but behind... Gardner starting to close back up on Gary Hamilton. Oh, late move!
Inside.
Whoa!
Oh, it's the last of the late breakers. What a move!
I think Hamilton realises what's happening here. Oh, big crash back in the field. Ben Smith upside down. Brendan Jackson in the wall. No. We saw that Smith was had issues. He had damage. See if we can pick up a CPR replay and try and work out.
Oh, goodness.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, turn one.
Yeah, it looks to me. Oh, wow, that was big.
That's huge.
Taylor Oakes was lucky to sort of get away with it. I mean, he did loop around, but nowhere near as bad as the other two. That was a huge one. All right, back to the front. Hanlon. Now Griffin Gardner, who's looking very, very racy. He's not worried about just getting a transfer spot. He wants the win.
Yeah, certainly. He's really going for it, isn't he?
Well, he was 4/10 quicker last time round than the leaders. So you can see he's got the bit between his teeth now. He just had a bad exit there on the last turn. So that'll cost him a little bit down this front straight. But definitely all fired up to maybe take the win.
Who's your money on, Sam, man?
Oh, well, let's go with Griffin Gardner. Like I said, his pace is good. But, geez, the boys are battling hard, though. As soon as there's a little bit of pressure, they don't mind throwing a block here and there. Of course, we like to see that when these guys are just having a red-hot go.
Just going to quickly get a CPR replay back in the field of our Vertline brethren and Brant Tucker. Brant, team manager as well of All-Star Motorsports, and he has found himself facing the wrong direction and a little clip on the wall. So, Brant, you got your TV time. Probably not the way you wanted. As we go back to the leaders, it is on.
Yeah, Anthony Winkleman had a bit of a slide in the middle of the carousel. That's opened it up to Hanlon again, but once again, he's just not able to get it done. Oh, big slide there from Hanlon. Well held.
Just been alerted to something too that we haven't really noticed. What's Hobbo doing in 7th?
He's been in there for a while.
Why is he in 7th? He should be in 6th.
Oh, yeah, of course. He should be. Can someone... no. Someone needs to do a charity bribe for Hobbo to get into 6th.
If
If someone does enough of a donation, Grant Hines slows down and gives Hobbo 6th.
Surely someone will donate for that cause. Is Hanlon? Oh,
Oh, here comes Griff Gardner. Oh,
this is on this battle, isn't it? 5.5 minutes to go, which will probably be 3 laps. Oh, what a race this has been.
Fantastic stuff. Anthony Winkleman has a bit of a lead now. Stretched out the gap slightly, but I tell you what, Hanlon and Gardner may well catch him at the end of the straight here. Remember, Winkleman has no draft. Jeez, Hanlon ran a little bit wide in the S's there.
Here comes Hines as well. We've got to watch out in that back battle because Hines, much better run through turn 1. Very, very close and probably close enough to get a move.
he's really got that toe now. You can see him starting to suck up to the back of the car. He now moves over the outside. No, he's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to do a bit of bump draft in there. Has a look around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold on, though? No. Simple answer.
Yeah, well, have a look. He's actually gotten a little bit of a launch there from holding the outside and just diving straight to the inside of the ankle of the boot. Loving these battles all throughout the field. Fantastic stuff.
I've heard $100 bribe and also two $50 bribes. So if you wanted to get yourself into the transfer spot,
hold
50
on
isn't
a minute,
enough.
sorry.
Griffin Gardner in the fence. Big moment.
Yeah, huge. No damage on his car.
Oh,
though.
Szyslowski made contact with him though.
Oh no. That is... Oh dear.
And Grant Hines also involved. We're going to go back and get a CPR replay and pick up everything that has happened in that one there.
Oh my goodness. Looked to me like, yeah, Gardner lost it on his own, and Szyslowski, not quite sure what went on there. It looks like he missed his braking point and just ran wide. Unfortunately, Griffin Gardner was coming back onto the track at the exact point that he ran off.
Yep, and then as he's come through, Szyslowski's made contact, and then as Gardner's looped around from the contact with Szyslowski, oh, and then he got extra contact again. We've missed that as well. There was contact between he and Josh Anderson. The Griffin Gardner, guess what positions he's in now with damage? He's
exactly.
in P12.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my timing's showing him... Oh, yeah, in P12.
12,
Goodness
yeah.
me.
Zach Raddatz disappeared from the live timing for a moment there.
Yeah.
Jordan Pruden, who's looked very, very racy, had pretty good pace. Griffin Gardner with massive damage. This last transfer spot has all of a sudden heated up. And guess where Hobbo is as well? Unfortunately, he's in 5th.
Oh, come on. Okay, now the bribe becomes for Hobbo to slow down and give a spot to Shannon Mason.
All right, so who's going to take this spot? Jordan Pruden now 7/10 behind Griffin Gardner. Griffin Gardner looks, whilst he's got good pace, that car does not look straight, does not look healthy. Oh my, this is on. We've got 7 cars fighting for 4 spots.
This is absolutely insane. And, you know, the Porsches always throw up a super interesting race, especially at a track like Watkins Glen. So, I wouldn't have expected anything different from a field like this.
Of course, we've got the return of the Porsche Super Cup coming in July, so make sure you check that out on V8's Line. The leader's now 1 lap to go, but everyone asked for it after V8 Scots finished last year. When will the Super Cup return? We said at this stage it wasn't, but guess what it is now? We are back with the Super Cup, and we'll have it every second Wednesday night, alternating with the Oceanic Sprint Championship, or the GT.
Might be on for the lead, sorry. Have a look at Hanlon.
Here we go.
He's looking around the outside. Is he going to be brave enough under the brakes?
Of course he is.
Oh, gets a little wiggle. He's going to run high. If he could just... No, he's not quite alongside to hold that position for the inside. He'll go out wide now, try the crisscross.
Oh, he's going to go around the outside here and try and hold it around the outside to get the run for the next corner. Big brake lock up, though, for Hanlon. not quite able to do it. The last transfer spot still at the moment, Griffin Gardner. But, whoa!
He's going to outbreak himself. He's touched the grass. As long as he stays off the wall, he'll still make the transfer.
Let's go to that transfer spot because have a look at how close this is now. Taliancic, Taylor, Gardner, Pruden, Hewitt, and Turner. We have 7 cars fighting over 4 spots. At the moment, you think Zach Radatz looks okay. But everyone else, that is not settled at all.
Certainly
Jordan
not.
Pruden, he's going to get a run here. Look at him. He's going to get a run out of the exit. Now he's going to go to the outside.
Yeah, Griffin Gardner going defensive there down the straight. But I don't know if he'll be able to hold this position from Pruden. He's already played.
He's going to try.
Guy's gone too deep. No, he's held it. Nice job.
Leaders are coming across the line, but we're going to stick with this battle because this is more important. We are focused on 12th and 13th position. Who will make it through? Winkleman's through, Hamilton's through, Hanlon's through, Szyslowski, Hobson, Mason, Hines, Anderson are all through. Radatz looks okay. He's up in front of this pack, but it's coming down to the final corner. Who will hold on? It looks like Griffin Gardner will just hold on.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Across the line, they go 3 wide across the line. The teammates in Taliancic, Taylor, and Gardner. We're seeing cars upside down at the end, but we have got through, and Griffin Gardner somehow held on.
How lucky was he? He was so close, like he was on the bubble. And man, we thought he was comfortable up front, but it doesn't take much for that to be a bit of a game changer. And wow, he just held on.
So that is our field completely set in regards to our transfer spots. We've already given away 2 wild cards, and we're hearing bids of $50 and $100 for transfer spots. If you would like a transfer spot, you have a couple of minutes to get yourself in. If you want to get in, make sure you send the admins a PM. Send either Danny Trim or Brenton O'Brien a message saying, I will bid X amount of dollars for this position in the main event. But results on screen: Winkleman first from Gary Hamilton in second. Zach Hanlon holds on for third. And we've got Scott Szyslowski, Brenton Hobson, Shannon Mason, Grant Hines, Josh Anderson, Zach Radatz, and Michael Taliancic rounding out the top 10.
In 11th place, we got Wayne Taylor as Griffin Gardner just manages to scrape in after starting from pole, finishing in 12th place. Jordan Pruden settling for 13th from 25th. A good run. In 14th position, Wayne Hewitt. Martin Turner in 15th. 16th, Christopher Allen. 17th, Brett Douglas. Ash Lear in 18th. 19th, Scott Larnack. And rounding out the top 20, Dean Ross.
I'll let you keep going on, Reese, because I'm setting up something very special for just after this finishes.
Blair Walton in 21st, with Taylor Oakes in 22nd. 23rd is Alistair Wellen, with Simon Black coming home in 24th place. 25th, Brant Tucker. David Coleman in 26th, with Philip Morton in 27th. 28th, Craig Casper. Brendan Jackson in 29th. Rounding out the top 30, Benjamin Smith. And now we go to the retirements. That's James Bell, David Mulhall, Brock Cadeye, Dylan Shepherd, Jack Stiles, and Sam Ross. So those were all the drivers that ended up taking to the grid. That is your field for this final heat race. The Porsche, preliminary for Matty's race to give cancer the flick, which is going to be coming up very soon. Have we got some surprises in store?
Or will, and it is about time to get pole position awarded. Yeah, copy and paste a few little documents and man to get his dress on. And no, actually, we don't want to see that. Please pay to not see that.
Hey, if someone wants to part with some serious money,
it would have to be serious because I've seen what you look like. On a serious note, though, we will get the game show music part happening. We'll get the game show part of the night happening. We will spin a wheel. Been down to the local RSL and stole their spinning wheel, and I'll no doubt maybe that's why the police will be around tonight. I won't be at your house, Sam. It'll be at mine because I stole the spinning wheel. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes, and it's going to be a very, very good surprise to see who's going to start from pole. And it is completely random. We've got all 36 drivers in our spinning wheel. All 36 that have been transferred through. The wild cards are not, because they are still being finalised. We've still got people that may end up getting transfer spots. So it's very hard to type and talk at the same.
Yeah, it certainly is. You almost end up typing
What
typing
you're saying.
what you're talking.
Yeah, I almost put in something completely different, and I've forgotten drivers in this list, so we better fix that.
If I may interject with a bit of an anecdote, yes, there was a girl that I went to high school with, and she learned French, and on one occasion she started giving directions to someone on through text on her phone, and she ended up getting a message back. What on earth are you saying? Halfway through typing the message, she just started subconsciously typing in French. So that was interesting. Yeah, certainly. I've really been on the verge of that a few times, I think, especially when I've been cooking.
And we've seen you cook as well.
Yes, we have.
We've all been very lucky to see the lovely cooking that you've done on your Facebook page, Southpaw Racing. If you don't know who we're talking about, actually helps if I click save before I try and get this spin to work. So let me save, and hopefully, if the internet gods are playing friendly, let's have a little bit of fun and do something that we have never, ever done before. I'm actually looking forward to this. I've never been one to spin a wheel. Helps if I...
You've spun your rear wheels a few times, I'm fairly sure.
Look, I'm not going to agree or confirm or deny anything. You can hear the wheel attempting to spin in the background, but it's not spinning yet. We'll fire up the... there we go. Some game show music. How's that? Now it feels like we're really giving away some prizes.
All right.
Here we go. The most corny game show music you'll ever find. The good thing is you boys don't know what's going on. I'm the only one that can see. Yeah. But there is our beautiful spinning wheel. All 36 drivers, all randomly placed on the wheel. Let's click the right button and actually put it up on the screen. There we go. Now you can all see it. And let's click spin. See what happens. This is very, very loud clicking and very, very annoying clicking, but away goes the spinner.
Get ready, boys and girls.
Here we go. Who is going to get pole position for this race? It is going to be Brett Loxton. Congratulations. You will start this race from pole position, but bribes are up for grabs for the next 5 minutes for second position. If you want to get second position on the grid, bribes are needed, wanted, and accepted. So please give, and you can take second position away. But how's that? First ever spinning wheel game show segment we've ever had on V8 Online, and possibly the last.
I want more in the future.
Maybe we will. We'll see. Just realised I've had massive typos throughout the wheel. But anyway, it all worked. It worked as we planned, and we know who's getting pole. So Brett Loxton will start the race from pole. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we're going to thank some sponsors and do a few thank yous before we get ready for the grid in the main event. This is V8 Online's coverage of Matty's race. To give cancer the flick, I hope you are enjoying the coverage. The main event is coming up soon. Stay with us here on V8 Online.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaws.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back to V8 Online's coverage of Matty's race to give cancer the flick. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me, I have Reese Gardner and Stephen Sandman Clark. Firstly, Reese, what a night of racing we have had so far.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, like, I was expecting things to be really interesting tonight, but honestly, this race has blown any expectations I came in with out of the water. We've had some fantastic action, a little bit of controversy, plenty of fun, and I cannot wait for this final race of the night where all of the fields come together in one giant cluster. It's going to be great.
Sure is, Sam, man. It's going to be very interesting. An absolute random mixed up grid.
And that's the beauty of it. You can have, a mixture of cars all the way up and down the field. So you can have maybe some fast guys at the back and maybe some not so fast guys at the front. We just don't know. We've got a quality field, though. The racing's been fantastic. And like you said, Reece, this has certainly surprised me because I kind of thought coming into tonight that maybe, the top 8, the top 10 guys, or maybe the top 8 at least, would probably just take it easy. But we're seeing these guys race really hard for the win, which has been awesome.
Yeah, it certainly has. We've made reference a couple of times, of course. If you've just joined us for this race, the top 12 in the previous 3 heats have all gone into this final race with a few wild cards. And up the front, you would have thought that they would be taking it easy, but they haven't. And I think the racing has been all the better for it. They put on quite a show, haven't they?
Been
Not
a
wrong.
phenomenal night the whole way through, and one more race to go. As you said, we're just waiting. We're just having some technical issues getting the grid sorted. That's all on me. But it's turned into a phenomenal night, and big thank you to everyone who has tuned in and has continued to stay with us the whole way through. And it's going to be a fantastic final event coming up in a few minutes' time.
Also, a massive shout out to everyone who's not obviously worked behind the scenes to get this event off the ground, but everyone who's dug deep and donated. Doesn't matter whether you donate $1, $10, $100, like every dollar counts. And to see what the community's done for tonight and to get behind this great cause, it's just staggering to see the figure that we've reached so far. And there's still plenty of time, if you want to make a donation. And like Jay said earlier, if you're going to have a coffee in the morning, why don't you sacrifice that coffee and just throw it to this cause? Because it's a tough situation to be in, and you wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I think it's great that the sim community's got behind this and done what we can. It may not be much, but I tell you what, it's pretty impressive to see what everyone's done. And a big thank you to everyone who's helped out.
Yeah, certainly. Just noticing in the broadcast chat, Matt Toirkens' son has jumped into the broadcast chat, giving us a bit of an update on his condition. The chemo has worked a treat, apparently, and it's down to quite a manageable size, at least 50% smaller. So great news there for Matty Toirkens, of course, the guy that we are raising money for, the guy that we're supporting with this event tonight. So that's fantastic stuff. Keep on fighting, Matt. We're all behind you.
Entire AusNZ Sim community behind you, and we're all hoping that you get through and get back on your feet soon enough. Just trying to get my random number generator working to set this grid, and it's starting to play a bit more friendly now. So have the admins able to set the field in just a few moments. But that's what our little bit of a delay is at the moment. The field set for the next race.
Yes, indeed. And this is going to be a completely random grid as well, aside, of course, from pole position, which we know is going to be Brett Loxton. We have seen some bids come in for second position and
$150.
Yeah, $150 bid for a second position start and $30 for Brenton Hobson to start in third place. That's interesting.
That some of those bids and some of the bribes have been accepted by the race organisers. In saying that, I don't think they're going to say no to any extra funds that we can raise throughout the night. So would like to continue to donate and give. We're happy to have a bit of fun with it as well. So if you would like us to try and say something during the broadcast or try and make a very bad pun at some point in the broadcast, we are happy to try and oblige as long as the price is right. Oh, now the game show's continuing.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the dum 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 music to start up. That's
Come
Jeopardy.
on down!
Oh dear.
That was my favourite game. Love watching Larry Emder, and I'm old enough to the good old days of Price is Right. Half of our audience are like, "What's the Price is Right?"
Yeah. But
That's
John Burgess, Wheel of Fortune. Come on.
I remember catchphrase. Burjo's
Oh,
Burjo's
catchphrase.
There you
catchphrase.
go.
Yeah. Look at the tangent we've gone on. We're talking about old school game shows in the
All
middle of
because
this.
of the spinning wheel, which it must be said people really liked, and it may make a return at some point. We don't know.
Seems popular.
I think it was more the dodgy music that was popular, wasn't it? I don't know what dodgy website I found that
Okay,
on, but
well,
anyway, it
Yeah,
worked.
let's put it to the broadcast chat then. With the spinning wheel, what did you like more, the wheel or the music?
Because I can put the music back on if you want. Like I really can if that is what you are after. While we're talking rubbish for the next few minutes.
Just make that our general sort of backing track while we're introducing races from now on.
Maybe we need that as the start grid music.
Maybe.
Right, so the grid has been set. The admins now have the grid, so they can now create the event. Get things underway for the event. It's all about the wheel. Dodgy music. It's the spinning wheel. Oh, hang on, we're getting a few votes for the music as well.
Yeah, we go.
But we might go very soon. We've got a special guest coming in the next couple of moments. Matty is going to jump in and have a chat with us very, very soon, which will be really cool. So hopefully you can come in and have a chat in a couple of minutes. But overall, what a fantastic night we've had so far. Just had another look at the event now. The money we're up to, $11,605. Well done to everyone in the Aussie sim racing community. That is.
Yeah, that's an absolutely insane amount. Awesome stuff, guys.
Hopefully we'll a couple of minutes. Overall tonight so far, we have had messages between admins and things like that. Had a fantastic night of racing the whole way through, Sam. And how good is it to have you back in the box?
Oh, mate, she's been a little bit rusty at the start there, but I tell you what, the boys have turned on the action. It's not too hard to get excited about what we've seen on track. It's been great. So much great racing and great mixture of cars too, when you take in consideration. We've got the V8s, the Porsches racing with the GTs, with the Audis, Mercs and Ferraris. I mean, we've just seen great racing up and down the field, and mate, I can't wait for the final. It's going to be an absolute ripper.
Now, just before, we've just got Matty in for a quick chat and just a couple of moments, but just sent me a photo, Sam, man. Am I allowed to show that on the broadcast, what you're doing while we were on our break?
Yeah, sure, why
It
not?
may not be too handsome.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
definitely not.
Sam Man's in there. Hello, Matt Vigor. Hello and welcome to you. And we are so honoured and proud to put on this fantastic night for you. So I hope, firstly, that you're enjoying it. Secondly, I hope that you are feeling okay and as okay as you can, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, well, chemo is not your friend, but yeah, it's been a fantastic night of racing. I've really enjoyed it. You guys have put on a great chat, a great event.
Now, obviously, the aim of our entire night was number one to race, have a bit of fun. I think overall the format has absolutely done that without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. It's been fantastic. Watching the V8s go around was great, and the GT3s, they're fantastic to watch. The way they testify, the grip level they get.
Very, very interesting. Going to the three classes. Who's your tip for the race?
Jamie McKnight, sorry.
But
Wrong with that.
we can give away a little secret. He has paid money to start this race from second to get the driver that has reached even further into his pocket to donate some extra second in. That's going to be good to see up the front. Well, so
Yeah, well, let's put the coin aside, and I'll just say that you guys have been commentating on the races of late, and you'll see that Jamie's been a standout he's been a standout really in his performance.
Improved so much in the
Yeah, so I'm really proud of him. He's done a great job.
Yeah, Jamie's upturn in form recently has been absolutely fantastic. And, to see him up there, possibly challenging for the win tonight, it'll certainly be fantastic to see.
Yes, it should be fun.
So either way, coming up to this race, I suppose this is something that hasn't quite been done before, Matt. The whole putting all of these classes together in the one field sort of thing, and every effort has been made to get these cars as close as possible. Obviously, we're now going to have V8s taking up the first row, but the rest of the grid being random. What do you think about the way the race is going to go? Coming into turn one, we'll really see for the first time the relative speeds of these cars, because the V8s, they won't really go through turn one all that well. Meanwhile, the GT3s and the Porsches, I think, will have the better of them a little.
Yes, I've got to agree with that for sure. But I know that Brenton and the rest of the crew have spent hours upon hours making it as balanced as they can get it for tonight's race.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Jay's unfortunately having a couple of issues with his microphone.
I'm back
We're
now.
hearing.
I've just realised what I did. I turned the threshold the wrong way, so it made it even worse rather than making it better. But yeah, I know as well how many hours Brenton's put into this event. I would say put in 30 odd hours in setup work, and every night after a race he'd be going put another session up and trying to change the setup. So well done to Brenton O'Brien for putting in so much effort into getting this as close as we can get. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but it is going to be close enough that we're going to have a fantastic show at the end. So well done, Brenton. But Matt, I know you have a couple of thank yous that you would like to do yourself.
Yeah, actually, I do. I really want to thank everyone from the community. It's been overwhelming. My wife couldn't believe it when you guys all started to put your hand up and started to give me words of encouragement. And I'll tell you, for the last 4 weeks, that's what's got me through. And I just want to say thank you to everyone out there that's made donations and supported me through this process I'm going through at the moment.
Well, we've all got your back, mate, and
Yeah.
Excited to say that we are not far off hitting what my goal was for the night. We're almost at $12,000, so hopefully we can get that extra 325 that we are short of $12,000, which is phenomenal.
That's unreal. That's unbelievable.
So hopefully once we're all wrapped up and that can ease a few stresses, which I know you will be going through behind the scenes, but it's an absolute pleasure to have you in, Matty, and we're all behind you and we've all got your back. We're all thinking of you.
Yeah, thanks very much. I really do appreciate it. And my wife does it. My wife and family does as well.
We might take one last break here on V8's Line before we get ready for the main event while the grid is being set. We are not far away from the final race of the night, 45 minutes for these guys. It is going to be one action-packed race. We'll be back very, very soon.
racing, you wanted the best, you got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back to V8's Online's coverage of Matty's race to give cancer the flick. And how good was that having Matty in with us just before? Jay Kennedy, Reese Gardner, and Stephen Sandman Clark. Boys, it has been a very, very moving night. It's been an emotional night, but we come to the business end of it. The fun stuff, the final race. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we hold our breaths a little bit, boys, when we've seen what we've seen in the first three races?
Yeah, I'm tempted to, but I'd probably pass out because, God, the amount of action that we've seen is probably going to continue all the way around the first lap, considering what we've seen before.
For those that are watching, the session will be up in the next couple of minutes. So we won't be far away from being able to get into the session and getting some action out on the track. But another update with where we're at with the GoFundMe. We are now at $11,810. We want to get to 12 by the end of the night.
How good would that be?
Please give a few extra dollars. Get us to that magic $12,000. I'm dumbfounded. We checked it this morning. I know I sent you a photo, Sam. I think we were on like 8,800. To now be nearly at $12,000 is phenomenal.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? That's so good.
Yeah, the amount of generosity that we've seen out of the community tonight and everyone coming in from this race being shared around on social media is just fantastic. And I'm noticing that the server is up now, so we are going to get going very soon, boys.
Yep, session is up, so we'll be able to get some pictures through in just a moment. And once we're in the session, the grid won't come up on screen, but I can confirm the starting order. So we will do that. We will have 40 cars in this main event, which is a pretty good number. I'm pretty impressed with that. We've got the 36 qualifiers. We've got 2 positions that have been given due to racing incidents that probably have cost a driver a transfer spot. So they have got in from that. And they have also gone through randomly with the 37 cars left with the 2 paid entries, all being randomly selected, which adds a pretty cool little element where everything has just happened completely with a random number, completely random generated, and will really mix up the field.
Yeah, for sure. I keep thinking about the possibility of lap 1, just lap 1. No particular location on lap 1, just the entirety of lap 1. It's going to be tense. It'll be interesting to see how the field actually sorts itself out over the course of the first few laps, because we know that despite the parity measures brought in place, different cars will still be better in certain places. So we're going to see some actual proper battling between completely different kinds of car.
It'd be good to see where these cars' strengths and weaknesses are too, when they're all compared to each other. Like you said, we've made the parity, or we've tried to get the parity as close as we can, and from what we've seen so far, the times look, there or thereabouts. But we're going to see some good hard racing, and I'll tell you what, these guys got to cut it out. There's 40 minutes, I think the final is, so it's going to be a ripper.
Yeah, it's going to be a long race, especially compared to what we've seen before with our 25-minute sprints. But I think definitely in terms of the straight line speed, the V8 supercars will have it down pat, followed by the Porsches, and then the GT3s, I think, in descending order. But once we get to the boot, once we get to those twisty parts, I think you'll see those GT3s, particularly the Audi, getting up there a bit.
It's going to be really interesting how they're all going to achieve the speeds. Look, we're going to get the Scafie quote out. All these cars will achieve their speed differently.
There we go.
That's an extra $20 from someone. It has to be.
Yeah.
Someone dig in. Someone out there loves the Scafie quote. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of how these cars behave. If you've got a GT3 car, they're going to try and use that boot section of the circuit. But it's going to be really exciting to see. I think the Porsche is going to be a really, really good middle ground. V8, as you said, they're going to have the straight line speed, but they're going to struggle through the boot.
Yeah, they certainly are. You got to remember, these V8 supercars, they got over 650 horsepower going through those rear wheels, but they're severely undertired and overweight, so you've got to be very careful. I'm actually having a look out on track. We might be able to see an opportunity to have a look at the difference in speed between the V8s and GT3s. Ethan Grigg, Galt, and Bruce Ross are out on track together right now. You can see catching up to Guy Leach at the moment, and Ross really catching up to the back of Ethan through this boot section. So if this is the kind of racing that we see in the race session, it's going to be exciting.
What would you want to be in, Reese? V8, GT3, or the Porsche?
Out of all those cars, GT3 is the one that I'm least terrible in. So,
okay. To be honest, I'm quite happy to be sitting up here because it's going to be chaos. It's going to be mayhem, but I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this practice session before we go into the race. A 45-minute race session. How many laps around Watkins Glen would that translate to?
Enough.
Yep.
Comments to the coach.
Yep, that's as good an answer as any, I suppose.
The top 10 in this race will be Brett Loxton, Jamie McKnight, Brenton Hobson, Ian Ford, and Hayden Dodman have grabbed the lucky numbers. As has Stuart Vaughan, paid his way in with $100. He's going to start from 6th. Zach Hanlon, Griffin Gardner, Michael Taliancic, and Zach Raddatz, the top 10 in this one.
Wow, so there we go, exactly that. People digging deep and giving more money to this very worthy cause. I'm just seeing lap times come in now. It looks like the Porsches have been the ones setting those top lap times so far, but they're not quite representative, I think, of the out-and-out pace that we're going to see.
Now, we went through our pre-race report before, but we're going to go through it again because a few people missed out. So I think expectation at the start was the fun probability would be high. I think we've passed that. The pun likelihood, extreme. I think we probably need a few more puns in this race.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that.
Yep, we will.
Yeah.
Laughs to be had many. Succeeded.
Yep.
Chance of Sandman's neighbours complaining. Well, I'm sure they have, but the police will be called within the end of this race. And voice boxes damaged at the end of the night. We said 3. I know, I'm getting a little bit hoarse.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Me too. Neigh, snort.
Sandman's scuffing on the chocolate, so he's
yeah.
You're lucky, Sandman. I haven't put the photo up, so that's probably a positive. All right,
Waiting.
done.
Oh, there we go.
Done. Who wants to see? Who wants to see
bit...
Sandman behind the scenes on what he's been up to? If you
we do
it's
during
$20.
Commercial breaks.
$20 if someone wants to donate for a picture of Sandman doing what he's up to.
And this
Look,
is when we're during a commercial break, mind you.
I actually think, look, we're going to do it anyway because we have hit $12,000.
There we go.
So
well done, everyone.
Round of applause.
That is more than enough reason to put this photo up on the broadcast. Oh my. Let me just click some magic buttons here. Sorry, Sandman, but
Hey, who cares? I'm a good sport.
oh, just as I'm scrolling through the photos to put up, I just saw one of you and I at Winton. We were just talking about our infamous day at Winton, where we did an episode of Short Shift. Just saw the photo of that with one Brad Ryan hiding in the background and lurking. But alright, who's ready for this? Who's ready for a picture of Sandman and what he's up to?
Ready.
There we go. There's Sandman into the dairy milk chocolate Easter eggs.
You wouldn't pick it, would you?
Not at all. Anyway, that's done. Let's go through the grid for this race.
Keep it in the corner, Jay.
No. Look, no, I won't. I could, but I won't. Starting grid for this race up on screen. And look, while Reese, you go through it, I'm just going to quickly put some game show music on.
Yes, of course. Brett Loxton starts in position number 1 with Jamie McKnight in 2nd. Brenton Hobson 3rd. 4th, Ian Ford. Hayden Dolman in 5th. 6th, Stuart Vaughan. Zach Hanlon in 7th. 8th, Griffin Gardner. Michael Taliancic starting in 9th with Zach Raddatz in the Porsche starting in 10th. Ethan Greg Galt in 11th. Trent Thomas 12th. Marlon McMullen in 13th. Top 20 rounded out by Emily Jones, Joshua Anderson, Sam Blacklock, Shannon Mason, Blake Neck, Mitch McLeod, and Richard Hamstead.
The rest of the field up on screen. Big thank you to everyone who has tuned in throughout the night. It has been a fantastic night, regardless of what happens in this race. Prizes up for grabs the whole way through the field. Let's stop talking. Let's start watching. It is race time. Green flag flies, away we go, and in the background, who's that with a great start? The Porsche's definitely getting off the line better, but into the fence is Shannon Mason, who got a great start.
Zach Hanlon got a good start as well. He's running up the inside. Jamie McKnight already losing a couple of positions. He's gotten down into third behind Brenton
Oh,
Hobson.
big crash
but
in the
now-
background.
Oh, yeah. Not good.
Not sure who that was upside down. Looked like it may have been Anthony Winkleman. We're going to stay live. We're staying green. There is also a possibility we may see safety cars in this race. And now we're going to see the V8 supercars. Have a look at this. They're 4
Look at
wide,
them
trying to
go.
go 5 wide. Ethan Grigg got on the dirt.
On the grass, that's Ethan Grigg. Gold manages to hold on to it. Doesn't want to make contact in the back of the Porsche, though.
Oh,
Oh, have a look. Richard Hampstead really going for it in the carousel, but ended up making contact there. Dane Warren made contact with Richard Hampstead. So now the field really jostling as they come into the boot. This is where the GT3s are really going to start to make dividends here. Jamie McKnight and Stuart Vaughan battling a bit here. Stuart Vaughan on the inside. Have a look at Ian Ford trying to hold the outside there in that Ferrari.
Have a
Brenton
look-
Hobson and Brett Loxton have run away with it.
and have a look at that pack behind. Angry pack behind. Oh, jeez, watch out.
Oh,
Ian
Zach's
Ford.
going to make a move up the inside. Will he think about the move on Ian Ford? Oh, it's going to be contact. There they go. They're all off. Sideways off onto the gravel.
Wow.
There we go. A couple of Fusion Sim
Oh,
Racing cars
5
caught up
wide.
with that as well. My goodness, how are they all fitting onto the track? They're not.
This is incredible. Ian Ford, big tap, and he's in the fence.
Oh, there we go, and that's right on the edge of the boot. There we go. The track is nearly blocked here. This is not good. Tyson McEvoy involved in that as well. Shane Van Gisbergen and Ian Ford all the way at the back. What a shame for those
Van
guys.
Gisbergen is out of the race. He actually changed cars in between races, and that is the race done. Unfortunate for him. Also, it looks like a couple of cars a little bit slow in the mid-pack, but at the front, Loxton and Hobson have broken away from everybody else. McKnight in third, Ethan Gringold and Griffin Gardner the next in the queue. This is going to be on, but have a look at Zach Hanlon side by side. Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, and Holden V8 Supercar all in a pack together.
Yeah, and have a look there at Cooper Webster using the straight line speed advantage of the V8. Zach Hanlon with more straight line speed as well, making his way past Trent Thomas. They're going to go 3 wide, no, maybe 4 wide into the carousel. Look at Mitch McLeod, goodness me. That's crazy. Trent Thomas now getting the advantage behind Stuart Vaughan. A couple of cars with some dents, but my lord, what a race this has been so far. I don't think I've ever seen anything so crazy in my life. Through the boot now. Zach Raddatz has been black flagged by the administrators. Ethan Griggolt making his way past Jamie McKnight. So that's Griggolt up into third. Brett Loxton still leading by a few car lengths from Brenton Hobson.
Wow, what a first 2 laps this has been.
Oh my
And it's
goodness.
still on in that mid-pack. This is incredible.
Yeah, Dane Warren heading up a freight train of death and destruction. Marlon McMullen, Zach Raddatz, Stuart Vaughan, Mitch McLeod, and Trent Thomas along.
Oh, there we
with
go.
Vaughan.
Someone's off on the grass.
Yep, there we go.
Vaughan made big contact with Zach Raddatz as he was trying to get into the pits.
Now they're 3 wide down the front straight. Blackneck's trying to go around the outside. Looks like he may have
Oh,
done it
4
under
wide.
brakes.
4
Oh, Zachary
wide.
Hanlon.
Hanlon on the
Wow.
inside, Hampstead on the outside, and they made it work.
That's incredible. I think all of them were going into turn 1 with their eyes shut. That was amazing.
I know, I closed my eyes for a moment there. Now let's watch Cooper Webster as he tries to come down at Hampstead.
Oh, look at him run.
Oh, wow, look at the speed difference of the V8 Supercar in this straight line. But as soon as they get to the carousel, the V8 loses all that speed. And we're going to see the GT3s be able to hold around the outside just with that grip and downforce advantage, or are we?
Yeah, look at that braking performance too that Mitch McLeod had over the V8 Supercar. That was tremendous.
Yeah, and look, Mitch is already all over the back of Zach Hanlon trying to get a move done. Remember, the Porsche has similar grip levels to the V8 Supercar and similar straight line speed, so the GT3s are going to have to be really careful around them. Meanwhile, Blakeneck has broken free of that group, and they're all left to fight over the crumbs. Oh, have a look, Stuart Vaughan going around the outside of Dean Briffer, making his way up after his incident earlier on.
Also seen a change of position in P2 with Ethan Griggold through on Brenton Hobson, so that is move done. Change for second and third. Now, I know in pace before this event in the testing, lap speed advantage goes to the GT3 cars. So
Yes.
But they are really going to struggle in regards to getting past Mitch McLeod around the outside of Zach Hanlon. Ethan Griggle, fastest car on track at the moment, but I think that will start to change in the next few laps.
Oh, have a look at this for 4th, 5th and 6th. Emily Jones, James McKnight, Sam Blacklock there. They're all battling it out.
It's on.
Oh, Emily Jones and McKnight going
Oh,
side by side.
touch! He's going to bounce off the wall into the guardrail. Can he hold on to it? More contact there with the GT3.
Yeah, Josh Anderson there is a sitting duck in a straight line.
Oh, McLeod on the gun! Whoa!
It's on! It's a massive crash down the back straight! It's still going on! Cars off into the wall!
Yes,
Wow.
Blacklock not in a good place, and he's just, wow. How did Blake Neck escape from that with no damage? That was a bit insane, but my goodness, what a crash. And that right there is the straight line of the V8 supercar really coming into play in the worst way possible, because you notice that Dane Warren had a huge run on all those cars. He had absolutely nowhere to go.
Oh, that was a big, big hit. And Warren, oh, wow, when Sam Blacklock come back across the track, and yeah, Blake Neck as well, a little bit of contact with he and Blacklock. That's two, unfortunately, bad nights in a row here at Watkins Glen for Sam Blacklock, with V8 Scops not going to plan at the exact same spot. But that all started from Blacklock and McKnight trying to go side by side, and then
Mitch McLeod spun. Yep. He's just spun there in the background. That's a very awkward place, as Sam Blacklock too is trying to
get back to the pits. He's taken the shortcut, taken the boot shortcut, and used the cup layup, and here's McLeod spinning.
Oh.
Probably just reacted to Blake Neck having a big slide ahead of him.
And Luca Giacomin actually spun as well after getting, I think, a bit frightened by Mitch McLeod.
So the order at the moment is Loxton with a big slide. There's a 1.3 second lead over Ethan Gringold, who is the fastest car on track at the moment. Brent Hobson in third, has Emily Jones and Hayden Dodman. Not too far behind it is Supercar, Porsche, Supercar, GT3, the top five.
Now, Emily Jones is now taking that 3rd place. Just under brakes there under Brendan Hodgson. Just that speed difference there between the V8 Supercar and the Porsche.
Yeah, Brenton Hobson doing his best to try and hold on, but unfortunately not able to keep Jones behind him.
Oh, McKnight's off.
Oh, there we go. McKnight not having a good night at all. He's actually back in the pits.
Yeah, his race done, I think, probably from the damage that we saw in that big accident. Actually looks like it may have just pulled off the track when there was a big pack of cars coming. Thought it was a bit too dangerous to have his very slow car out there. So unfortunate to see the number 012 in the pits. Of course, that being Matty Toirkens' car. So not the way we wanted that car to see the end of the night, but we go back now to the battle. This is 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th in this battle. We've got the 6-car battle, then followed by another 4-car train with Cooper Webster, Trent Thomas, Scott Zaslowski, Scott Newton, Zach Hanlon and Ryan O'Sullivan in this first pack. See that the lap time's very, very close, but the GT3 cars, even if they have got the pace, are not quite able to get through just based on the straight line speed of the V8 supercar.
Yeah, certainly. They're just able to get all that pace back. The Porsche too, they're able to get really good runs onto the back stretches. Oh yeah, Hanlon and hang on for 4th, you say?
Yeah, Dodman side by side with Hobson. Had the run through the S's, but Hobson now at the straight line speed advantage in
look at that braking though. Yeah, all under brakes. Nice job there from Hayden Dodman.
Yeah,
So
excellent stuff there.
Dodman now the lead, GT3. Hobson still the lead car in the Porsche class. Now 3 drivers of the day in our first 3 races as well. They all are going to receive a prize courtesy of the guys running the night. So Josh Anderson, Tyson McAvoy, and also I've lost my Lost my third driver of the day. Anyway, it'll come back to me soon. That was an
yes.
anticlimactic end, wasn't it? Battle for the leads on, though.
Breath, man. Yeah. Brett Loxton getting caught up quite a bit by Ethan Griggolt, who is really slamming down those lap times. 45.6 on the last lap, a 4/10 gain on Loxton. Let's see how much he gained this time by. So Loxton sets a 46.2, a 45.9 for Ethan Griggolt, so more gains being made. Jamie McKnight back out onto the circuit. Looks like he was just getting some damage repaired.
Good to see. Comes out just behind. See if we get a safety car and wave him back around on the lead lap. But Hayden Dodman doing a great job in this Audi. He's closing up to Emily Jones. Very, very quick. Is Dodman at the moment? He's the second fastest car on track behind Ethan Griggolt.
He's great through the rest of the track. Just down the straights it hurts him, but boy, he's got speed through the rest of the especially up through the boot, through the corners.
And look at how... Sorry, Reece, I was just going to say, look how late he is on the brakes in comparison to Emily Jones. You can see the brake lights come on for Jones probably 2.5 seconds earlier than Dodman was on them.
Yeah.
Oh, mistake!
Oh, goodness me. That's crazy, the difference between those guys.
Well, that's the beauty of this racing, isn't it? With all these cars involved, that these cars all achieve their speed differently. So you can see that Dodman's just trying to get on the throttle, but then Emily Jones, just the power of the V8, just pulls away a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing too about the V8 is we know tyre life is not great in the V8 supercars. GT3's pretty impressive tyre life. It's a fairly long race. I don't think these guys in the V8 will be thinking about that.
Oh, he's thinking about a move. Oh, that was close.
Oh, this is great. You can see that at initial throttle application, Dodman has Jones, but Emily in that V8, once you actually get the car straightened out.
Sorry, Reece, the lead is on. Here comes Ethan Griggolt up the inside. Oh, Loxton squeezing!
Close.
Squeezing!
That's it, and Ethan Griggolt trying to maintain it, but Loxton doing very well to try and keep that. Looks like Ethan is now through, though.
Yep. I think the dynamic around tyres, I don't think any of these guys in the V8 would have even considered. So while it's okay to push on and push aggressive like this now, give it another 20 minutes. They will not be very, very nice looking Dunlops underneath these cars.
No, certainly not. And there's no pit stops in this race either. No fuel restrictions. It's an out-and-out sprint. So you've got to wait for these GT3s and Porsches to come back into their own.
Yeah, and the guys that are playing it smart, the likes of Dodman, the likes of Hobson, the likes of Blake Neck, Richard Hampstead, Griffin Gardner, those guys in those alternate cars. Oh, there's another lock-up for Emily Jones. And here comes Dodman.
Oh, there's a little bit of touch there. She held onto it. Nice job there. Nice save, Emily Jones.
Good stuff. But can Hayden Dodman hold on here? Looks like he's been able
around
to
the
get it
outside.
done.
Just under brakes around the outside. Good move from Dodman. So Dodman up to third. Jones back to fourth. So seeing a car
look at
slow.
the straight line. That's crazy.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, Richard Hampstead and Dane Warren, meanwhile, battling quite hard. Another GT3 versus V8 fight.
Yep, a very, very intent one. And two guys that we see up the front in pretty much all of our broadcast races that they feature in. So no surprise to see those two cars fighting. Good fight that they're having. Just ahead though, Blake Neck looking very, very aggressive. Oh, almost in the dirt versus Mullen McMullen. Oh,
beautiful.
Excellent.
good move.
But now he's got to cover that line because the speed of Mullen's going to have in that Commodore down that straight. But it under brakes, that's where it's going to hurt him.
Oh, Hampstead might get this too.
Yeah, Blake Neck just getting back ahead of McMullen through turn one. Have a look at how slow the V8 is through turn one. Richard Hampstead not able to take advantage of that. Watch out for McMullen down the straight though.
Yeah, the onboard speed will be enormous here.
Let's watch on board now with Marlon McMullen. Let's see how quickly. Have a look how quick that is.
Easy he does it.
Wow. But Neck
Blake
may...
leaving him just enough room.
Yeah, Neck probably had to get on the brakes.
Oh,
early.
Mullen's just drifted up wide.
He overshot. So there we go. That's given the advantage to Blake Neck once again. And Hampstead, yes, up the inside. Have a look at that. McMullen had no choice but to give him the corner there. So McMullen's going to have to regroup, fight another straight.
Well, this is where the GT3s need to be tidy, just so they can look at the speed they carry off the turns here on exit is great, but it's just that straight line speed. They're lucky here that the straights aren't all that long, and they've got good braking performance compared to the Commodore.
Fastest car on track last lap around was not a V8 supercar, it was a GT3 Richard Hampstead. So already we're starting to see a swing from V8 back to GT3. We'll probably see that for the next 15 minutes. And then we're going to see the Porsches really start to come into their own late in this race.
Yeah. Brenton Hobson, behind Brenton Hobson, actually, Blake Neck and, oh, goodness me, Blake Neck and Richard Hampstead both trying to pick their way past. Sorry, guys. I was just going to mention that the GT3s are really coming into their own, and that right there is proof of it.
Yeah, can't wait to see tyre life with about 10 minutes to go in this race, because that'll be a true indication of how these cars perform. Yeah, it's all good and proper to get away, start at the fast and go away at the lead, but you want to be there at the end, and if you can carry that tyre life over, doesn't matter how fast those cars are, if you've got that grip in the turns, you're going to make it up.
So Hobson now back to 7th, but as we've been saying, the tyre life would mean that he doesn't really have to stress about it at all, because he will work his way back forward. McMullen's probably going to get past Hobson, and he does. But now under brakes on that inside line, he's got to be really careful here, does McMullen. And Hampstead, he was probably side by side at the point where McMullen got his foot on the brake, but just able to brake so much later of these GT3s.
Yes, indeed. And now Neck and Hampstead, they're just motoring their way through the field at the moment. Both Neck and Hampstead up from the lower reaches of the top 20 and now both running in top 10 positions. So as they continue their march, their next target looks to be Emily Jones, who has been lapping a few tenths slower than them the last few laps.
And the one I reckon is in the best spot is Hayden Dodman.
Yeah.
Because it was over 5 seconds to lead between him and the race leader, Ethan Grigg-Colt. Once he got past Emily Jones, last lap round it was down to 4.8 seconds. So this is where the GT3 will start to look after the tyres. The Commodore will start to tear them up, and I think he'll just slowly start to pull in these two.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we're starting to see that, and as we said as well, the Porsches have really started to come into their own later in this race as well. Blake Neck around on the front straight.
There we go.
Wow, what happened there?
That's a real shame. It looked like Blake just got on the throttle a little too early, got up too high on the curb, and around he went out of the final turn. That is a real shame for Blake. He was doing so well too.
Now, boys, while that was happening, last time round our race leader did a 1:46.222. Hayden Dodman is only 4.4 seconds off the lead, did a 1:45.8.
That's crazy pace from Hayden Dodman.
So he's nearly half a second quicker a lap, and this race is just going to get a little bit longer and harder on those tyres for the Commodores. I think Hayden's he's sitting pretty.
Yeah, of course, he was given a wild card after his race ended after a bit of contact, so he's given a wild card from the admins to get into this race and is absolutely using it to his full potential. Fastest car on track last lap was Dodman. The lap previous was Luca Jackerman, who is back in the field a little bit, but he's one probably not to discount as well. We know how good Luca is in the GT3 cars, so I don't be surprised to see him move up a few positions at the moment, sitting in 24th.
I tell you what, looking actually at position 20 back, we got Bruce Ross, Mike Korolev, Wayne Taylor, and Michael Talyancic. 2 GT3s, a Porsche and a V8, all fighting for the same bits of racetrack. This is looking really good.
It is. It's a very, very spicy battle going on here. Hanlon in 17th. We're seeing a car in the pits. It's Grant Hines. But Hanlon in 17th. Vaughan in 18th. 19th is Hamilton. Bruce Ross in 20th. And Korolev, Taylor, Talyancic. This is a pretty intense battle.
It certainly is. They're all coming together at different points on the circuit once again. Stuart Vaughan, of course, carrying some damage, so he's a bit down on overall lap pace, but you can see he's still pulling away from the GT3s along with Hamilton and that Porsche.
They'll be getting a little bit frustrated too, because they'll be feeling that they have the performance to get by is a big mistake, big wiggle for Vaughan. Those tyres will be really starting to struggle now.
Have a look at Bruce Ross getting a little bit of a run through the S's, but he's going to slowly lose that as he comes to the end of the straight. He's just tucking in behind Gary Hamilton, trying to stay with them, preserve as much of that draft as he can. Won't be able to make any move here at the carousel. And now as they get down to the boot, this is where Ross and Korolev are really going to come into play. As Hamilton actually manages to get past Vaughan.
Yeah, good move. Surprised in the Porsche's ability to get around there. So well done by Hamilton to get the move done. I would have thought more passes would be done in the V8 around this section of the circuit as opposed to in the carousel, but that was pretty impressive.
Mike Korolev has just been given a penalty, guys.
Oh, I'm wondering if someone's paid for this. I would, look,
You seem to know too much about that, Jay.
I actually got a PM about someone wanting to pay for a black flag penalty, but I would not be surprised if Mike was given a black flag if someone did want to cough up some money as a bit of retribution for V8 Scots, because Mike does hand out the penalties in V8 Scots, so I'm sure there would be some people quite happy to hand them back.
Well, it looks like it's been cleared now, so I'm messing with him a little bit.
Stuart Vaughan in the pits though, so that's ended that little battle. We're going to go forward in the field a bit because have a look at Richard Hampstead on the back of Emily Jones.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good right now. Emily, of course, pulling away in a straight line, but Hampstead's pace over the last few laps has been pretty good. Of course, not as good as Donban's because Hampstead is carrying a little bit of damage, but he's still making really good ground on Emily. A bit of a lock up there from Jones. Have a look at Hampstead's mid-corner grip, but he can't do anything on the exit.
That's all right. As this race goes on, look at her up the inside there.
Oh.
Emily didn't stand a chance there. The grip that Hampstead had threw it up the inside. The braking performance of that Audi, she was a sitting duck. She's firing back now. She's going to look up the inside. The power of the V8. Now it's under brakes. It's all down to brakes now. Hampstead round the outside. He'll hold it. Get on the throttle. There's no problem.
Just going to move to the next battle forward from this too, because have a look at how close Hayden Dodman is now.
Oh, yeah. Really threatening Brett Loxton for second through this last half of the circuit. Oh, is he going to go for the move at the last turn? He's having a look, just forcing Loxton wide, but I don't know if that was wise because Loxton has really gotten the traction down on the exit of that final turn. Have a look at the gap that he's pulled. Dodman is going to have to wait until the boot once again. There's no way he can put a move in the S's here and make it stick.
No, even if he does, it's the power of the V8 down that long straightaway that'll hurt him. But yeah, you start to work through the boot, the grip, and the advantage of the GT3 and that Audi. It's going to be impressive towards the end.
Dane Warren in the pits as well. So Dane Warren's had an incident. We're going to try and get a CPR replay and pick up what's happened to Warren. He was in the top 10 and he's now out of the race.
Yeah, it looks to me like he was having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's just come into the pits, so not sure what's going on there. Maybe he's come in and decided he wants some fresh tyres and going back out again because he's coming back out on track.
There we go. Just get some repairs done, get a fresh car.
Dodman's got up the inside. He's got the job done.
Oh, Loxton, bit of a slide, just not able to do anything against the traction of the Audi, but Dodman protecting the inside now, coming into the heel. Loxton manages to clear him, but will Dodman be able to come back?
Oh, if he doesn't shut the door, he wasn't able to shut the door there. So Dodman was waiting for it. Now he'd be back on the outside, but again, the grip of the Audi. Oh, it's going to be interesting on exit.
There we go.
There he goes.
Good move.
It's that initial. Oh, hang on. He's not.
Oh,
not exactly free yet. Loxton is really monstering him at the moment.
Yeah, he just needs to get a good run through this turn now, and if he can carry that straight line speed, it's like Dodman's just got away enough where he won't be able to get the advantage.
We'll see coming into the carousel.
Gap between Griggold and Dodman is 4.6 seconds. Still 20 minutes to go in this race. Around about 12 laps. Pace difference between the two cars on a normal flying lap around about 0.4 of a second. So it's going to be pretty close. 0.4 of a second by 11 laps. That leaves us 1 lap to go.
I know what car I want to be in. I want to be in Hayden Dodman's car.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
have
look
a
at
look at
Loxton. Look at Loxton. The power of the mighty V8 down the straightaway.
Amazing.
Oh, but he just kept trying
to come back.
The nose. Oh, that was
There he
tight.
goes.
See, that's the thing. In the V8 supercar, you see how late the GT3s are braking, and you think, oh, I want to try that too, but you can't. If you try and brake any later than the super early braking point that the V8 has, then you're just going to go wide. There's nothing you can do about it. And Loxton, you can see he's trying desperately to keep up with Dodman, but it's just not working.
Yeah, and every lap it's going to get worse, those tyres on those V8s. So if you abuse them, they do tend to go south of the winter fairly quickly. So, they'll try their best to look after them, but I think the GT3 is it's certainly the car to have at the moment, and Dodman's making it look that way. You can see that Loxton just had a little tyre brake lock up there.
Just going to go back in the field a tiny little bit. Scott Kozlowski and Dean Bruffer, these guys going at it for 12th and 13th position.
Yeah, Scott was having a pretty good fight with a GT3 and a V8 earlier on, but unfortunately it looked like he lost quite a bit of ground to them. So now he's involved in this battle with Mr. Briffa. You can see Dean just eking out a little bit more ground on Kozlowski through these long flowing corners, but he won't have much of a chance down this front straight unless he decides to set up a move into turn one. He's having a look. Just trying to sight a braking point, and that Mercedes through mid corner, it's absolutely fantastic. So Kozlowski having fallen back from O'Sullivan and Newton, who themselves are having quite a battle here. O'Sullivan actually bump drafting Newton in a straight line.
I love it.
That's excellent.
That's pretty cool to see guys bump drafting like that. Have actually gained about 3 or 4 kilometres an hour over what the normal pace would be in the Audi, so obviously worked in some aspects.
Yeah, certainly. In the meantime, it looks like Trent Thomas has gotten by Marlon McMullen, and Marlon is losing yet more ground at the moment. I think the tyres on those V8s are starting to give up. Hayden Dodman taking another 2/10 out of Ethan Griggolt at the front.
Oh, and Winkleman!
Is that a
safety
caution?
car.
Here we go.
Okay. Was this a competition caution?
Now, who does the tyre game? Who actually thinks about taking the chance and coming in for some fresh tyres?
Who paid for the competition caution? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
entirely
how
possible
much
that
did they
someone-
pay?
Yeah.
Well, this definitely works in Dodman's favour and Hampstead's favour. These guys in the GT3s will be loving this because there was quite a margin there. Ethan Griggolt had almost 4 seconds over Dodman, but then it was almost 7 seconds back to Laxton back in third. So definitely.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting end of the race as we're coming up to 15 minutes to go. Yeah. I don't know if our voice boxes could handle it. Yeah.
Oh, pit stops. Love
Yeah.
it. Dodman stayed out. So is Hampstead. Emily Jones is staying out. That's surprising.
Yeah, that's a late fake there from Jones. Looks like a Ryan O'Sullivan and Scott Szlowski coming in as well, Zach Hanlon. So that's interesting. Not just V8s coming in.
Good work from me for accidentally muting my microphone and nobody hearing anything I've said. But
Good job, Jay.
What I did say is, yeah, we don't want this to be a real series for future because our heart rates and volume levels and neighbours will not like it too much. But it has been a phenomenal night, and to raise over $12,000, giving up our time and our services has been well and truly worth it.
Plus, you know, keeping crazy event formats like this should be kept for special events,
Agreed.
Special stuff like this. You know, because that's what makes it special.
Speaking of special events, Reese, I know that you and Mr. Speary are starting to plan the next Max Bands.
Oh yes, yes we are.
It's going to be a very,
We've got
very interesting night.
Yeah, we've got some interesting stuff planned for this one. We've and actually we've been talking about 3 and 4 as well.
Wow.
Max Bands 3 and 4. There's so many horrible ideas we want to unleash on the iRacing community. So keep an eye out for the Max Bands Open in week 13. It's going to be a fun one, or a horrifying one, depending on your position.
Extremely entertaining, or it will be absolutely terrible, and we'll delete the YouTube link afterwards. Sam Man, cast your minds back to the GT3 race, lap 1. Who got involved in a bit of an incident?
A lot of people, actually.
Yeah,
well,
Aidan Dodman, didn't he? And Richard
yeah,
Hampstead.
yeah.
Where do they happen to be sitting?
Yeah, 1 and 2 right now. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Just having a look, and I think the first of our pit stop cars that came in and got tyres, Ethan Grigolt, I think he's back in 24th position. So he's going to find himself, it's going to be a hard work to get. He's only going to have 11 minutes it's only 11 minutes to go at the moment. So by the time we go green, he's going to have his work cut out for him. I don't know that that tyre tip may have paid off with the amount of cars that actually stayed out.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? We've still got 10.5 minutes or so to go, so it'll probably be just over 10 minutes left on the clock as we go green. So just seeing a few cars shuffling positions. Michael Taliancic getting into a different position ahead of Mitchell McLeod. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this all plays out. Be about 7 laps of racing to go, maybe 6 laps of racing left. It is going to be intense. Who's your money on, boys?
Who's my money on? Why are you asking me that question? I can't answer it.
Sorry.
I reckon it's going to be between Dobbin and Hampstead.
Yeah, I do think so. Dobman is already away, though. The green flag is out, and Emily Jones is already coming to it.
Now. Oh, it's going to be Hampstead round the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can.
Good move.
Yeah, but Jones is going to get him, surely. Jones is going to get him.
Yeah, what she needs to do is just hold her line through the S's. The advantage here is probably that the tyres got to cool down under that caution. And you watch the power down this straightaway. She will absolutely get Richard Hampstead here.
Mullen McMullen might as well. We'll see what happens. Yeah, have a look at that.
Oh, but it's going to be under brakes where Hampstead
Yeah,
takes the advantage.
That's it. Have a look at Trent Thomas versus Brenton Hobson there in the background. Thomas getting by Hobson well and truly, and Hobson out wide in the carousel.
Oh, Hampstead under brakes underneath Emily Jones. Nice job there, Richard Hampstead.
Hayden Dodman just running off the track a little bit there in the lead. Doesn't want to be doing that too much.
Big advantage he's got, though, is that Hampstead and Jones were fighting, and it's giving him a little bit of a buffer. We're going to have 5 laps to go when we cross the line.
5 laps, Jay, man. It's going to be crazy.
And the V8s will be okay for this lap and probably the next. After that, those last 3 to 4 laps are going to be hell in those V8 supercars. Big crash in the background. Luca Jackman and Dane Warren into each other.
Yeah, that's quite bad there. Dane Warren just trying to enter back onto the circuit.
Whoa.
Luca Jackman, though. Whoa.
Well, hearing
That's
another
one way to
incident as
rejoin.
well.
Oh,
Wayne
yeah,
Taylor
another
also
one.
involved in one. But Dane Warren has escaped. He is out of the race. He is race over, race done. We get a CPR replay. Pick up what's happened there. Oh, there's actually a car flipping in the background as well. Blake Neck. But Dane Warren was up the inside trying to get a move done, and I think he has decided to park it based on admitting fault there. We're going to get another look as well at Blake Neck. Now, we will get back to live action as Brenton Hobson is also around.
Oh, man, what a shame.
Hobbo was having a very, very good drive. But Blake Neck, unfortunately, absolutely cleaned up by Anthony Winkleman. But we're going to go to another CPR replay and pick up what's happened to Brenton Hobson.
Oh, it was he was going side by side with Trent Thomas through turn 1, and unfortunately, it looks like both cars just got hooked into each other, and Hobson came off second best out of that.
Unfortunate for Hobbo, who was doing well.
Yeah, Thomas probably could have afforded to stay a little bit more to the left, but he was rapidly running out of runoff. And Trent Thomas has been given a penalty for that one.
Check out the battle up front now. It's really tightened up between Hampstead and Dodman.
Yep, certainly has. This is going to be on for the race lead.
And there's going to be 4 laps to go. Long time left in this race. Still 7 minutes left. Oof.
Just giving our voices a rest, aren't we,
I
guys?
think we need to, because we know that something's building, don't we?
Yeah, of course. Ian Ford threw on a couple of Porsches. It's Griffin Gardner, Gary Hamilton, and Matt Kidden, a Mercedes there behind him. And Ian Ford continuing to make his way up through the field. Remember, he started 4th, but he's had to fight his way back all through this race. He's doing a good job there. Coming up on Dean Briffer, coming into turn 1.
Go back to the front. Here comes Hampstead. He's going to have the draft advantage down the straight. Will he be able to make it work? Gap 0.3 of a second and closing. Hampstead.
He's definitely got a good run here. You can see he's just in the toe here of Dodman. Dodman will cover his line though. He'll move to the inside. That's exactly what he does. He wants Hampstead to go around the outside. Make it a little bit difficult for Hampstead. They're both late on the brakes. They're going to be side by side through the right-hand sweeper. Dodman got the inside line, needs to shut the door so Hampstead doesn't go up the inside. He'll think about it. He'll just stick in behind. He knows there's still a couple of laps to go. Doesn't want to push too hard at the moment.
Interesting last lap around as well. Hampstead did the fastest lap of the race, last lap around.
Yeah, doing pretty well there up the front, and now I think Hampstead's just trying to psych Dodman out, or just have a look at Dodman's line, see what he's doing.
It's a great battle, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I think it'll be on pretty soon for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because Emily Jones is starting to fall back into the clutches of Mullen McMullen, who is getting harassed by Scott Newton.
Yeah, Newton's looking very, very strong at the moment. See if we can potentially get a move done. It's now coming up to one of the more weaker spots for the GT3 car, but if they can just stick in the draft, might be able to get something to happen. Even if you can get a good run here, might even be able to get it done under brakes into turn 1. Hampstead again, fastest lap of the race last time round at 45.2.
Very good.
That's
2 tenths
crazy.
quicker.
Yeah, he's definitely on it right now as Richard Hampstead. I'll tell you what, as our leaders are now drafting here. Now, what is Richard Hampstead going to do this time? Dobman's still protecting the inside.
Yeah, smart
Can
driving.
Hampstead try and hold it?
Oh, they're both in the same car. Oh, a little bit of contact.
Oh!
Just squeezing each other.
There's no love lost here at all. Oh, this is on.
It's going to
Yeah.
be tough. They've both got their work cut out for them because they're both in the exact same car. So it's both a very level playing field. It's going to be who's got the car underneath them, who's got the tyres underneath them to go the distance.
Oh.
Hampstead looks quicker, but is he going to be able to get the job done?
Hold up. Ian Ford is now right in the battle here. He's just gotten past Marlon McMullen, and there's a car
Griffin
spinning
Gardner.
in the background and noticing. Yep, Griffin Gardner around. How did
Quick
that
replay
happen?
and see how that'll happen.
Yeah.
And then are we gonna
looks
go to
like
a-
he,
Oh, it's on for the
Wow.
lead as well. We'll stay with this replay quickly, and then we'll go back to these leaders because there is nothing separating first and second at the moment.
Jamie McKnight caught up again in an incident as Griffin Gardner was trying to recover as well. But yes, the lead is most definitely on now.
Oh, it's
here we
nose
go.
to tail as they come onto the start-finish straight. There's only 3 minutes to go in this race. Hampstead needs to think about the move. Will he look up the inside? He's definitely got position. Dodman leaves the door open. Hampstead throws it up the inside.
Yep, but
It's a
Dodman's got the
crossover!
crisscross. That's
Yeah,
it.
good.
Dodman has got it.
Now it's through the S's. Dodman's got the perfect line. Richard has to tuck back in.
Oh,
what's
this
he
is so
gonna do?
tense.
Yeah,
can
Dodman, I knew
barely find
Dodman.
the
Wow,
words.
this is
He
phenomenal.
had to cover the inside.
2 laps to go, 1.5 laps to go even. Oh, this is on. These guys are fighting for it. These guys want to win.
Is he going to go up the inside here under brakes? Last of the late breakers, Richard Hampstead. Can he make it stick? They're going to be side by side on exit. It's going to be down the inside line. Who's going to have that Dodman? He's got position on the inside of Hampstead.
But see, Richard knows what can be done around the outside at this turn, but he doesn't take the chance, or does he?
Inside
He
here.
takes that
Oh, he's
line
going to
line.
block.
Love it, love it.
Excellent.
Good move from Dodman to cover back that line because Hampstead had the overlap and the overspeed to get the move done. And look at how tight they are fighting here. This is a great battle. Sorry to everyone else, but we're going to stay with this.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Can Richard Hampstead go for the over-under here? He just goes on the curb, loses a little bit of momentum. That was the momentum he needed to try and make the move stick. But now, we got 1:24 to go. So this is
White
going to be
flag.
white flag this time by. It is on for the race win here in Matty's race to give chance at the flick. Have a look at that Dodman going real defensive on the front straight.
Of course, you have
Hampstead's
to.
got pace. He's going to have to go the outside. That's not ideal. He wants a crisscross. Can he get it turned in?
Oh,
Oh,
he stayed tight. He stayed tight on the inside to deprive Hampstead of the opportunity.
good move from Dodman there to recognise what was going to happen.
And he has to hold tight again down the back straight. He has to keep it to the inside. You can't let Hampstead get there. He wants to put the nose there. Dodman covers. He has to make Hampstead go around the outside. He's tried this 3 or 4 laps in a row and it hasn't pulled off. He needs to cover it. They're going to be the last of the late breakers again. He just backs off, tries to get the over-under, but Dodman's got car position.
He certainly has, and he's gotten on the throttle just a little bit earlier there. Covered off Hampstead on the exit now. Dodman knows what Hampstead is going to try and do there. He covers the middle of the track, so Hampstead is being forced to take a bit of a compromised line here. But there's a few more opportunities, a few more braking zones for Richard Hampstead to try and make the move here on Hayden Dodman. He fires it straight to the inside. Dodman up on the curb, loses a bit of momentum. Can Hampstead get the run here? Dodman going defensive once again on the straight. Richard Hampstead as they come over the crest into the heel of the boot. Will Richard Hampstead try and make the move here?
He has to. He's running out of time. He has to be side by side. Needs to get the exit. He hasn't got the nose alongside. Dodman shuts the door. That's what he needs to do. Hold position. Hampstead on the grass a little bit. Tries the crossover. Can he get to the inside? Touches the curb, but that upsets the car.
It does. And they've only got 2 more turns to go, Stanman. Who's it going to be? Dobbin or Hampstead? There's
Hampstead's
one more
going to fire it! The inside! Will he go to the inside for brakes? No, he goes the outside! He's run too deep! Dodman's going to get the exit! He'll get the run to the line! He'll
Wow,
take
what
the
a
checkered
race.
flag here at Watkins Glen!
What a race.
What?
Well done. Well done to everyone
Stand
in that
up.
race. Great
Stand
job, guys.
up and
It's-
bloody applaud those guys. Goodness me.
Wow,
There
what
were
a
so
battle.
many opportunities for that to go wrong.
That
But it
was
didn't happen.
incredible. Well done to Hayden Dodman, Richard Hampstead. I think they'll both be a lot happier with how that ended in comparison to how it did on the opening race. A bit of sad news though. Emily Jones is stopped on the circuit. I don't know if I've got a feeling she's run out of fuel.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
We'll see if we
So-
can pick
oh,
up
and
in the
that's
CPR
way
replay.
back at Carousel as
Carousel,
well.
she's out of fuel, so see if we can jump back on board and yeah, out of fuel, so you can hear from the onboard the coughing coming through the S's, and Emily wasn't far off or fighting for top 5, so unlucky for her to end up in that position. But congratulations to Hayden Dodman on picking up the win. He will get himself some prizes, as will quite a few of our drivers in the field. There are lots and lots of prizes that the admin team are giving away. Wowee, what a phenomenal night of racing. That was incredible.
I certainly turned it on towards the end there. Those 2 Audis, that was just great racing between 2 good drivers, 2 great cars, and boy, oh boy, this was a great racetrack too.
That was...
I'm absolutely over the moon.
That was phenomenal.
great.
And final figure as we end the broadcast, we'll get a couple of guys in for a chat soon, is $12,115. That is a phenomenal effort. Well done to everyone within the community who has donated. The donate link will still be available for the next few days, so make sure you do jump on and donate. Give whatever you can, because every cent is appreciated. So make sure you do donate. Matty and his family will greatly appreciate it. We might run through our race results, then we're going to get a couple of drivers in and some of the admins in for a quick chat, because we're already well over time, but I don't think we really care tonight because it's just been such a fun night.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Hayden Dodman does pick up the race win in the end over Richard Hampstead. Scott Newton in third position. Good drive from him to come up through the field. He started all the way back in the field, I believe, in the 30-odd position mark. So Newton, good job. Marlon McMullen, the lead V8 supercar, he finishes in 4th. Dean Briffa in 5th. Mitchell McLeod finishes in 6th position. 7th position goes to Cooper Webster. 8th goes to Ethan Greg Gault, who did pit for fuel under that safety car period, did a good job to keep moving forward. Matthew Kidd and Bruce Ross round out the top 10.
Stuart Vaughan comes home in 11th place with Brett Loxton, our pole sitter, coming home in 12th. If this was another preliminary, he would be through. Zach Hanlon in 13th with Michael Taliancic coming home in 14th. Guy Leach in 15th position with 16th, taken up by Tyson McEvoy. Gary Hamilton and Luca Jackman finishing in 17th and 18th, and the top 20 being rounded out by Scott Kozlowski and Ryan O'Sullivan.
I'll turn my mic back on and then I'll go through the next list. Sorry, Rez, I was trying to click 15 buttons at once. Mike Koroloff and Wayne Taylor, 21st and 22nd with David Mulhall. Trent Thomas, Brenton Hobson unfortunately finishes in 25th position. That's not 6th. And Anthony Winkleman in 26th. Then we've got Ian Ford and Emily Jones, who both ran out of fuel or had incidents on the final lap. Jamie McKnight, Shannon Mason ran out the top 30. Then Griffin Gardner, Dane Warren, Blake Neck, Grant Hines, Kurt Stenberg, Sam Blacklock, Josh Anderson, Zach Raddatz, and Shane Van Gisbergen. The DNFs from that race. What a night of racing we have had. What a cause it's been for. I have loved every minute of tonight. It has been phenomenal.
I have to say, I'm completely out of breath, and I can feel my voice fading away, but I don't regret a single moment of it. Once again, just thank you so much, everyone, for your donations. To get over $12,000 at the end of the night was absolutely fantastic, and to top it all off, we had a fantastic event in the end. Putting a race on for a good cause, it's always fantastic, but the show just made it all the better.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal.
Not
Sorry,
wrong.
Sam.
Definitely had a good car and track combo. It was good to see the different mix of cars throughout the field, and the racing was first class, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
We'll quickly grab a couple of interviews before we finish up the night, and right on cue, in comes our race winner. Congratulations, Hayden Dodman. What a race and what a fight you had it there at the end.
That was good fun. Congratulations to everyone that has put this all together.
Talk us through your race, mate. You a bit worried about how quickly the V8s were pulling away at the start?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know what the time difference between each car was going to be. And off the start, I had a terrible start, and I got swamped. And I seen the supercar speed. And I was like, "There's no way you're going to get them." But I think, obviously, as the tires worn off, I was like, "Might have a chance here." Then I always kept a check on where the next GT3 car was, and I was just happy. Then the caution came out. I was like, "No, this is not going to plan."
Yeah, we threw the caution because the original race plan was for 40 minutes, but because it went for 45, it fucked the V8 fuel. So we thought, I'll throw the caution.
It whoopsied the V8 fuel.
Fuel save it.
It whoopsied the V8 fuel. Brenton O'Brien with a big swear word. That's a donation into the jar, swear jar.
Yep,
Brenton.
Did you consider taking a pit stop there, Hayden, when you saw the caution come out? Were you thinking about fresh tyres?
No way. I was on for my fastest lap of the race. It was falling into my lap as it was there. Then the pace car came out. I was like, no, that's gonna just destroy the supercars because they're gonna go to the back of the pack. I knew when the safety car came out, it was probably in the better for the GTs.
Sorry, Danny. I thought that was Brenton, but your swear jar for you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot I was in this channel.
That fight you had with Richard at the end there, Hayden, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was. That was good fun. Made up for the first race.
We'll go to the second place. Congratulations to you. And Richard Ham said that was a phenomenal fight you had at the end, but you just couldn't quite get the run at the right time to get past Hayden.
Yeah, what a race. What an event altogether. Like, that was heaps of fun. I think I started 20th or something, and first lap was absolutely insane. There were just cars 4 wide, just getting absolutely steamrolled by the supercar down the back straight, and just trying to go around the outside of them at the carousel, and yeah, just crazy. And I noticed about halfway through the race started to draw in the supercars a bit, and obviously their tyre wear is a bit worse than the Audi. So yeah, at the end I think Audi was probably a bit quicker, and yeah, me and Hayden had a really good battle, and just couldn't quite get him. But yeah, I'm glad we were at least able to put on a good show for everyone.
Probably should turn my mic back on again. I definitely did that, so well done to you, Richard. We'll quickly go to Scott Newton in third position. Well done to you, Scott. You sort of had a pretty eventful race. You just charged your way through the field and finishing in third. Probably wasn't quite expecting that when you saw the grid, but you did a great job.
Yeah, cheers, Jay. Yeah, pretty happy with the first race, getting into the main and finishing second. And then when I saw the grid slot, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a tough day. And yeah, thankfully I was able to avoid all the incidents and sort of getting held up by the V8s and that, just due to their top end, especially going into the carousel and up into the hill. But yeah, just I was so thankful that the safety car came out. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have finished back into the top 10, to be fair. So yeah, it was a solid effort on my part, and yeah, it was a great event by everyone, and cheers to the organisers.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you on a fantastic drive. Definitely put on a show. We are running short of time, but I'm going to quickly go back to Danny Trim. Firstly to you, and also to Brenton O'Brien. I know how much work that you put into this event, so big congratulations. A fantastic, phenomenal success.
Look, it's not one person can just be congratulated with this, mate. It's Brenton, it's you guys with the broadcast. Sam, man, how great was it to hear him again? You know what I mean?
Needs to be back, doesn't he? Stay, Sam, man.
We've all missed that.
Thanks,
Jay,
mate. Very kind.
Oh, Jake Speary's jumped in as well. Hello, Speary.
I have. I want to make a personal request right here, right now on V8's Online.
I'm listening.
Can we get Sandman back for the Retro 500?
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Sandman?
We'll definitely talk about it. I have enjoyed my time in the commentary box. I do enjoy commentating and racing, but it's good to be back with these boys. But I tell you what, let's put it right there now that if I don't have any date clashes with work, I'll definitely do it for you.
There we go. There we go. Confirmed. Sandman is returning. But Danny, I know. I want to say a big shout out to Brent O'Brien. The amount of work that he has put in to try and get the parody as close to what it can be perfect has been incredible. And I know the amount of work that you and he have put in behind the scenes. So I just cannot say thank you and congratulations enough.
To be honest, it is a bit of a thing because, for years people have talked about an event with all these sorts of cars in it, and it's always said it can't be done. But thanks to the tireless effort of Brenton, it can be done, it has been, and it was done fantastically.
I think we will have to do another special event at some time for some cause. For the right cause, I think we can do something like this again. But Danny, I know you've probably got some people that you would like to thank.
Well, I'd like to thank West End Mazda for the prize money that they put on offer tonight. The prizes will be issued within the next day. That will be for the biggest movers throughout the preliminary races. The winner of the biggest mover in the final race will be announced by Dean Briffer. He's currently awaiting the interview, so I'll let him come up and do that. But yeah, it's just everybody, man. It's everybody in that community. Thank you.
Better turn my mic back on again. Big thank you to everyone within the community. The fact that we have raised $12,000 is absolutely overwhelming to everybody who's been involved behind the scenes. And I think Matty is and his family are absolutely overwhelmed and thankful for the generosity of the community. So big thank you to everyone who has put their hand in their pocket and donated some money, time, and done it all for all the right reasons. It's been a phenomenal night.
It has. And again, the sultry tones of Sandman.
Wait.
Thanks for the invite, guys. I appreciate being called up for this event. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The racing was first class, and it's just a big shout out to everyone who's involved. Like we've all just said, it's phenomenal that community can get behind such a great cause, and we all get criticized sometimes for just playing a video game as such, but we know as such in the community that this is more than just a game. It's a good sim racing experience, and we all have so much fun. So much happens behind the scenes just to get on the grid each week, and we've got so many friends up and down. It doesn't matter whether you're in the Oz NZ community or what community you're in, and I think we're all very lucky to be part of it. And it's important that everyone knows that regardless of whether you're next door neighbours or whether you're worlds apart, that you can rely on your friends that are online. And you may not be able to see them every day, but a lot of people have got special bonds with each other just through Discord and through racing and through iRacing, and it's pretty special. So everyone who's going out there and is going through a bit of a tough time, just know that you've got a lot of friends in and around you with friends and family, but you also got a lot of friends online. So don't be afraid to sort of reach out, and if you need someone to talk to, everyone is about.
Yeah.
Well said.
It's I think a lot of people have finally remembered that we are a real community, and events like these really help that sort of thing. Now, am I right, Danny, in saying that we're going to go to Dean Briffer next and award a prize?
I believe we are.
Hello, Dean.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Very good. Now we are awarding the award for. I forget.
The awards for the most positions gained during the race. Scott Newton has won that award. He's come from 34th up into third position. I think that's a brilliant effort, and I'm going to give him the prize for today.
Congratulations, Scotty.
Cheers, Dean, and everyone. It was mainly an event that brought out the Aussie NZ community, and just happy to turn up, really, to be honest, and put on a show for everyone. And thanks to everyone for showing the same amount of respect as well. So cheers to everyone.
Yeah, well said, mate. I think it's I think I want to thank everyone here for what they've done today, especially you guys up there and Denny and Jay and Sandman and Reese. You guys have put on a great show and it's really made it enjoyable, and it's a great cause for what we're doing here, and it's good to know that the community is behind everyone.
Yep, agree 100%. It's been phenomenal to see the support that the entire community has got behind. Whether you're a rival out on track or whether you're best friends on track, everyone today has come together for a fantastic cause. And the fact that I can't believe that we got to 12 grand. I know, Danny, you and Brenton were saying make sure we push for 10. I was like, no, we're pushing for more than that. You didn't quite believe that we'd get this high. I'm actually overwhelmed how high we've got.
Jay, I was blown away once we got over 2,000. Like my initial goal was 2,000. I thought, come on, 2,000. That's a lot of money. A lot of people dipping into their pockets. But to get to 12,000, who could ever have imagined that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I still know that there's a few drivers who are yet to donate as well. And we'll donate in the next few days. So it's going to be phenomenal. So hopefully we can get even higher. So make sure you do donate. But I think it might be time to wrap it up. Thank you to you, Danny, and also to Brent and Simon, Isaac, Mike, Simon Black, Simon Mazzomo, both those guys as well. I think I've covered everyone in there. Philip Morton as well. Who else do we need to
OEC Race Control.
Yep, all the guys that help out in OEC Race Control for that helping out with their expertise. Great to see all different organisations behind the scenes get behind this event too in regards to OSR, GT Leagues Australia. Also need to thank a few sponsors being West End Mazda, also Logitech G, PDA Performance Driving Australia, Modem Simulations, who have all donated prizes money for prizes. So big thank you to all of the sponsors and supporters behind the scenes. Reese and Sandman, thank you for jumping in. Sandman, as soon as I got the call up about this event, I knew that I would have to ask you to come in, and I'm so glad I did.
Thank you, mate. And while we're going through all the thank yous, thank you, Jay, for the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. Thank you for the offer. I couldn't be more proud to take part in an event like this, and I'm glad I did it. And thanks for putting up with me, Jay, and thanks for putting up with me, Reese.
It's not putting up. It's a bunch of fun, man. It was really good to have you back in the commentary box again. And from my perspective, I've said it already, but absolutely fantastic being given the opportunity to commentate on an event for a really good cause. And I want to wish the best of luck to Matt Toirkens and his family, and thank everyone who donated for donating. It's just an incredible outpouring of support.
Yep, it's been phenomenal. And the biggest thank you of all I want to give to Jamie McKnight for all of his support behind the scenes, for everything involved in the sim racing community. He does some massive things for the entire sim racing community that a lot of people probably take for granted and don't realise. So big thank you to Jamie. You probably see him out on track, but you don't realise all the stuff that he's doing financially to help series and teams and things like that behind the scenes. So big thank you to Jamie for his work and things behind the scenes for this event. But on that note, we will wrap it up. A big thank you to everyone for tuning in. It has been one of the biggest broadcasts we have ever had here on V8s Online, which is phenomenal for a charity event. To have so many viewers on a weeknight is overwhelming for the entire V8s Online team. So we thank you for tuning in. Our next broadcast will be Sunday night for the major series for the World 600. Until then, dig into your pockets, donate some more. Bye for now.